proud as can be. He's been looking after him since 2016 and finally got his reward. A win then for young Ben Mayer here at the Worldwide Technology Raceway, and he did it in style from flag to flag. At the front of the championship, though, Thomas Merrill continues to lead, ahead of Rafa Matos in second place and Enciata in third, Hurley fourth. Ben Mayer now moves to fifth.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Memorial Day Classic. Come on, Lime Rock Park, get loud at the fan walk. Look at that. You guys can get louder than that. Come on. So listen, right here, I've got Nick Middleton, who he's a New Englander, and this is the Cube 3 Architecture TA2 series. He's on Evan Slater's car, but ladies and gentlemen, this is going to be fun. The Memorial Day Classic, this has got to feel good for you.
Yeah, this is excellent. This is our fourth time here. This is the third time I've actually represented Evan back in 2021. And for him to be P2 today is phenomenal. So we're looking forward to a great race. But we wish all the luck to all the drivers today. And welcome to the TA2 race sponsored by Cube 3. So congratulations to everybody.
I love it. And I love all the people that you've brought with you. You can see them in their Cube 3 hats and shirts. So cool. But we are going to talk to Ben Mayer right here, ladies and gentlemen. Won the race with us at Worldwide Technology Raceway just 2 weeks ago, and now you're qualified 1, 2, 3, 4. So really good start here. And Lime Rock Park, it's a very difficult track, but awesome crowd. This has got to be exciting.
Yeah, this is an amazing crowd. I'm so happy to have all you guys here, and just gotta save my tires for the end of the race and try and stay as far up in the field as I can, and hopefully have a good place for the mayhem at the end of the race.
Nice. The mayhem at the end of the race. Already a prediction being thrown down. So, Tony, I'm sorry. We're going to try to make our way over to the pole position of Rafa Matos, two-time Cube 3 Architecture TA2 Series champion. But this track, Lime Rock Park is a very difficult track. So we're gonna talk to him real quick. So, Rafa, we were speaking, sorry to interrupt you guys, but we were speaking earlier, maybe the most important track on this schedule for 2024 to get pole position, and here you are, this series veteran. This has to feel pretty good.
Oh, definitely. Lime Rock, it's known by being a hard place to overtake, and hats off to the Nitro Motorsports team prepping 4 very fast race cars. We're in the front row. We have the best view in the house, and hopefully we'll keep out there. It's a long race, 75 minutes, 100 miles, so we have to save a lot throughout the race, but hopefully we'll be at the end. Hats off to our sponsors, Concord American Flag Pole Company. Hats off to Chris Dyson. This is a very special weekend for him. It's his home track, and hopefully we'll be able to deliver a good result and go from there.
Nice. I love it. Well, Rafa Matos, like I said, two-time champion. We've got Lime Rock Park up here handing out stickers. How cool is that? Now check this out. Cube 3 Architecture on the front of this M1 car, kind of reunited with Evan Slater, and Evan Slater from just up the road. So your hometown crowd, this has to feel good.
Yeah, it feels amazing. I'm super happy to be back in this Trans Am series. These cars are so fun. Cube 3, they've been supporting me since 2021, so I'm happy to do the third time. This is our third time doing this race. So super excited, looking forward to getting a great position in finish. The guys at SLR gave me a rocket ship of a car so far, so it's been a lot of fun. The thing's basically been driving itself. So I'm excited to take it for the race and see if we can have anything for Rafa Matos.
Perfect. All right, well, Evan Slater there. And I'm seeing Jake Drew here. Yeah, come on, get loud for some Evan Slater. We got to support the locals, but Jake Drew doing what he's supposed to do, signing autographs over here. And, Jake Drew, I know that you're really fast in everything, but this track here that only has the one left-hander, it looks like Silverhair gave you a great setup.
Yeah, Silverhair guy's been working real hard, and we've kind of been hitting on something right now. I'm really looking forward to the race today here at Lime Rock Park. Really happy to have all these fans out here, and excited to get going here.
I love it. Well, Jake Drew here starting in third, and then we were talking about Ben Mayer in fourth, and then we're going to come back and talk to another veteran, another TA2 champion, but who won here just a few years ago is Thomas Merrill. Thomas Merrill looking in line. Well, look at you guys. Well, hold on. Get in here, guys. Are you guys having fun here? You're about to meet Thomas Merrill. Has this been fun so far?
Yeah, very much.
Nice. How about you?
Yep, pretty fun.
When the green flag drops, who are you rooting for?
This person.
All right, Thomas Merrill. Nice. Now look at that. Look at all these signatures. Hold that up. But we're going to go here. Thomas Merrill, who won here just a few years ago. He taught at the Skip Barber School, and here you are starting 5th. That's a pretty good place to be starting at Lime Rock Park.
Yeah, we're just happy to be on the inside line. Hopefully that benefits us going into turn 1. But it's going to be a tough race, long race, but we know we got a good car in the long run. These guys have been putting a good car on the racetrack all weekend, so I'm looking forward to getting started.
Nice. I love it. Well, Thomas Merrill out here. We've got about 20 cars out there. We've got Adrian Lostowski right here from the state of New York. So make sure you go talk to him. Then right behind them, Barry Bowes. We've got Boris Said Jr. back there. We've got a lot of people to talk to. Boris Said Sr. is here. You can tell the Seds by their afros. All right, but ladies and gentlemen, right now we got to throw to commercial, and we're going to come back with a dedication from your local hero, Skip Barber. So stay tuned for that.
How good is this? Look at this view from Lostowski.
It brings all my fans, it brings the audience into the car with me.
Speed turn 140-mile-an-hour entry speeds.
The quickest and most efficient way for me to get information to my drivers is from using the V-Box HD2 system.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, here we are, Lime Rock Park, the Memorial Day Classic. Such an honor to be here, but it is an honor right now to introduce the CEO of Lime Rock Park, Dickie Regal, with a special dedication. Dickie, take it away.
Thanks so much, Ben. Welcome, everybody. Good afternoon. What a glorious afternoon to be together at Lime Rock Park for the Trans Am and SVRA Memorial Day Classic. As you know, Lime Rock Park has proudly declared 2024 as the year of Skip Barber. I am proud to be flanked by my partner Skip Barber and by dozens of VIP guests who are here to help honor him. In particular, we welcome Connecticut's State Representative Maria Horn, who is here with us, who does so much to support Lime Rock Park, our community, and our entire state. Thank you, Maria. I also want to acknowledge Lime Rock Park's partner, Tony Perella, who brings us Trans Am, SVRA, and the entire Speed Tour organization. I hope all of you will join us again in July for the Speed Tour All-Star event, also featuring IROC. Tony, you bring all wonderful things to Lime Rock Park. Thank you. Today, around the 65th anniversary of his first visit to Lime Rock Park, we are all honored to pay tribute to Skip's contributions to motorsport, to Lime Rock Park, and to the state of Connecticut. We do so with a deep sense of gratitude and reverence for this man whose vision and passion have left an indelible mark on this amazing place. Skip's commitment to excellence and his relentless pursuit of innovation have earned him the respect and admiration of his peers and all racing fans. The year of Skip Barber is a fitting tribute to a man whose passion for motorsports knows no bounds. I am proud to now dedicate this iconic structure at the heart of Lime Rock Park, forevermore to be known as the Skip Barber Tower.
Thank you.
I didn't expect that this would start with an agility test. I have 2 microphones in my right hand, some notes in my left, and some wonderful pictures that none of you will be able to see. Dickie was introduced as the Lime Rock CEO, which is correct. He's one of 3 managing partners of the group that bought Lime Rock about 3 years ago. The other 2 guys are here. Charles Mallory, who some of you know, over here. It was his idea to do this. And Bill Rickert, the 3rd guy, who claims he's done more laps at Lime Rock in his M3 than anybody, we know that's not true, is kind of responsible for finances. Thank you, thank you. All 3 of these guys come from families with great histories, individual histories of doing what I consider public-spirited things. And they're all really interested in preservation. So I think we are set for the future. That is significant, believe me. So, the tower. I want to first tell you a little bit about what was here before this good-looking building. Basically, there was a plywood box that had classrooms and storage down on the floor, which would now be illegal because this is a floodplain, had a flat roof, a very rickety ladder to get up there, a teeny little, almost a porthole in the roof for Greg Ricks and one other to crawl through. And most importantly, it had a walkway bridge from the 2nd floor, which was also really the 1st floor, that went over pit lane, over the pit wall, and out to the starter stand. That's important. First guy I want to recognize and thank is some guy named Jim. Bruce McGinnis, maybe you remember his last name. I don't remember his last name. He worked for the racing school, and he drove one of the Ford Econolines we used for a lot of things. And on the school race weekend, he might bring a couple of cars down here from the school shop, which was just 5 miles away, so we could run them in or do something. So he'd driven hundreds of thousand miles in an Econoline with a roof right over his head. Somehow he came up with a gray-blue van that had an extended roof, which you didn't notice when you were inside. He unloaded his cars, sped out of the pit lane as he was supposed to do, and there went the bridge, and there went part of the building. That was in the, I'm going to try to do this really fast, sorry. That was in the fall of '97. Mike Rann was the track manager then, and he's the 2nd guy I'm honoring, convinced the Lakeville Hose Company, that's our local fire department, that it would be great practice for them to put out the fire when the building was on fire. The end result was they managed to burn it totally down. We had to do nothing but sweep a few ashes. Sam Posey, then next important guy, designed this beautiful building. He's done every building here at Lime Rock. That's particularly cool because Sam's not an architect. He went to the Rhode Island School of Design, and he's designed every house in this neighborhood, I think. So he did that. The insurance company chipped in, and by the spring of '98, we were in business with this tower. So thank you to all those guys that helped, but I have one last thanks. For those of you that have been coming here forever, the 50-year people, and I've already bumped into a bunch this weekend, thank you, and to the 5-year-olds who are here maybe for the first time, you got a great future. Thanks.
Wow, Skip Barber, ladies and gentlemen, local hero. How cool is that? Mr. Barber, if you don't mind, before you step off, you want to have some photographers here. And then, ladies and gentlemen, I want to point out the Connecticut State Police Honor Guard right there to present the colors right behind Evan Slater's car. If you will remove your hats, please. And then we've got legend Boris Said up here shaking the hands with Skip Barber. And I'd be remiss, I passed and got starstruck. One of my Trans Am heroes, Sam Posey's right here as well. Ladies and gentlemen, how about a round of applause for Sam Posey? All right, so our invocation, Miss Truax, Heidi Truax, from the Trinity Episcopal Church, just over the hill, beautiful church, to deliver our invocation.
Let us pray. God of inspiration, we come before you on this Memorial Day Saturday to remember our brave men and women who gave us their lives for this country. God rest their souls. We honor our courageous veterans who are with us today, and we bless those who are currently serving in the armed forces and the Connecticut State Police. Grant them valor and strength to meet their duties to God and to country. We ask God today for serenity, courage, and wisdom. God, grant us the serenity to take a moment to be grateful, to accept the gifts we've been given, minds and hearts unified. God, grant us the courage to take opportunities to be transformed, to make a brave move, to change our course when need be. And we ask that God grant us the wisdom to know when and how to act and when to be patient. God bless all drivers and crews today. Keep them safe, and God bless us. Amen.
Amen. Reverend Heidi, thank you so much. Unbelievable. God of inspiration. What a great way to start that. And yes, Donna, if you'll come up here. And Donna from the Connecticut State Police is going to deliver the national anthem. But before she does, we have to bring in MAV TV. So before that, before you sing, you're here representing the state of Connecticut on Memorial Day. That's got to feel good.
Absolutely, it does. It's an honor to be here.
Nice. And then you've got your color guard behind you. So thank you so much for your service.
Thank you all.
Oh, well, hold on a second. Hold on. So we're going to have to. So I need everybody to be really loud when I start this next bit, okay? Even you, Tony. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are live on MAV. Come on now. The Lime Rock Park Memorial Day Classic. We just dedicated the Skip Barber Tower with Skip Barber right here. I've got Sam Posey right here. Boris Says walking around. Tony Perella. But right now, if you will bow your heads, gentlemen, remove your hats. Sergeant Donna Sabarin with the Connecticut State Police to deliver our Memorial Day Classic national anthem. Donna, take it away.
You see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets spread glare, the bombs bursting in air gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free, in the home of the brave.
Oh, my goodness, Connecticut. One more round of applause. Sergeant Donna, the Connecticut State Police. Man, how proud. That was unbelievable. Lime Rock Park, you just keep delivering talent after talent year after year. But Mr. Skip Barber, we're live on TV right now. You're about to deliver but I've got about a minute before the start command, and I just want to say it's such an honor to be talking to you. We've talked a few years ago, but now in the shadow of the new Skip Barber Tower, the Trans Am races here have been fantastic, but the best thing is this crowd. The crowd that this Connecticut, New York area brings to this Memorial Day Classic is so cool. That's got to feel good.
And for sure, we have a really knowledgeable crowd that's unique, I think, in road racing.
Nice. And then we actually have 2 minutes before we go, Mr. Barber, but we've got a legend there, Sam Posey, Trans Am legend. I remember him in that slime green number 77 Dodge Challenger, but just such a great person of heritage here at Lime Rock, as are you. And then you've got the likes of people like Boris Said walking around. It's got to be cool. You've probably met some of the coolest people in racing.
I remember when Boris did his racing school here and worked off the school by working as a mechanic for the next couple of weeks.
That is awesome. I love it. And then I don't know if you know this, but Boris Said Jr., who's in the race, competed in the Skip Barber Formula class of the racing here just a couple of years ago. But your Formula 5000 and your career, but your Formula 5000 is just out there in that cartainer, that beautiful orange Formula 5000. I can see your name all over the record books up there, but why is Lime Rock and Lime Rock Park such a challenging circuit for races like this, in your opinion?
You know, people who have only seen a map and not come here don't believe that. But the elevation changes, the camber changes, the fact that you never stop being in a corner, it's really difficult. It looks easy. By the way, it's the highest average speed of a road course in North America. Since it's small, you don't think that's possible.
No, it is, and it makes for some very challenging races like we saw in the IGT race today. We had the 3 lead cars go 4 wheels off over there on the uphill, just making for a great show. And then the crowd here and the legacy here at Lime Rock Park, and to have the tower up there, that's got to feel really good for Skip Barber and the family.
Yeah, but those cars off, there goes the grass.
That's exactly right. So we've got 1 minute to the start command here at Lime Rock Park for the Memorial Day Classic. And Skip, well, there's Chris Dyson right there, another Trans Am legend from the area. But to be here, I just want to say on behalf of the Trans Am Series presented by Pirelli, and Dickie Regal and his team do such a great job. The crowds, the fans, the best fans that we have all season long. And I'm saying that on TV because I really do mean it. That's got to feel good.
Real good. Thank you.
Nice. All right, well, we are about 30 seconds away from the start command. We've got people over there in the hill. Dickie Regal's over here giving some stuff for him, and then we've got Nick Middleton here with Cube 3 Architecture, Evan Slater. But Mr. Skip Barber, it is an honor to have you do this, our Grand Marshal for the weekend. Please deliver us our start command.
Gentlemen, start your engines.
Thank you, sir.
Brilliant adaptability.
Sorry, Roman. There you go. Yeah, I'm going to go take a shot, and then I'll be back here.
Well, with that wonderful sound and fantastic introduction, we are going racing here at Lime Rock Park. They've been holding races here, as I said earlier, since 1957. It truly is one of America's iconic race circuits. And you just met the doyen in Skip Barber, his Formula One car from 1970 that he shared also with Mario Andretti. And so many great stories and so many great drivers, including our own Chris Dyson, has come through the Skip Barber school. It doesn't matter whether you're a IndyCar driver or a Formula One driver, all can take the Skip Barber school. But here is our grid for 24. Rafa Matos and Evan Slater line up on row 1. Great to have Slater back. Drew and Mayer, winner of the last race, on row 2. Thomas Merrill, 22 champion. Lostowski, the local, on row 3. Barry Bowes going well with the Pro-Am in row 4. Boris Said Jr. not back for missing the meeting. Oh, Boris, just like your dad. Keith Prochuk in the 5th row. And Gio Ruggiero, the youngster, 17-year-old from Massachusetts. Then it's Josh Hurley, Tommy Sheehan, Michelle Abate on row 7, John Weisberg in row 7 as well, another local, Jim Gallagher, Chris Durbin, Jared Odrick, and Eric Caton, his first time out here for Eric, Doug Winston, and Thomas Annunziata had qualified on the front row, but did some work on the car during qualifying and was penalised his best lap. He starts at the back. Caleb Bacon also didn't get out in qualifying, and Conor Mosak was racing twice at Charlotte last night. He got an 8th place in the trucks and a 27th place in ARCA. Great to have him back, but he hasn't qualified the car, but it doesn't matter for Conor Mosak. He's a big boy now, and he knows Lime Rock well. Talking to big boys, we've already had an introduction to Tyler Casera. He is alongside, and we are delighted that Adam Andretti has also enjoyed us. So we're going to get a real insight into what this tricky 1.5 almost mile circuit is all about. Adam Andretti, Tyler, as we're on the warm-up lap, tell us a little bit about what you like or don't about this circuit.
I personally love Lime Rock. It's fast, it's flowing, it rewards the brave. It's kind of everything that you want as a driver inside of a racetrack. For me, you know, the biggest thrill and probably the biggest challenge here is the uphill. You know, and when you're really attacking this track, you got to have your powder dry when that thing takes off the ground, don't you, Tyler?
Absolutely, yeah. The uphill is definitely a spot on this track where you can gain a lot and you can lose a lot really quick. You know, but it's this compression in the uphill and then the Bennett Bridge Hall downhill, right, where you got to drive that thing down the hill and get through there and down the San Posey Straight, as I said when we opened the show, into turn 1, because that's your best passing opportunity.
Yeah, absolutely, and the straightaway, I mean, is deceivingly long too. Like you're for as short of a track as it is, you get a lot of straightaway there. It's good because it's like the only break that you get around this little bull ring for us.
13 points the difference between the pole man, Rafa Matos, and Thomas Merrill leading the championship. Incidentally, Thomas Merrill, as you saw on that graphic earlier, the most successful driver here at Lime Rock. So that bodes well, but he's got some work to do as Merrill. Rafa Matos, boys, in pole position. Surely that's the place to be, and we always say that. It's Monaco this weekend too, but here it is different, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a big advantage for Rafa to be up front. You know, he's going to be able to control the pace in this race, and he's going to have the first crack at getting through the lap traffic once, you know, we get a handful of laps into this. So that's going to be a big advantage for him, and you know, we'll look for guys like Evan Slater and Ben Mayer to try to chase him down and work through him, but you know, they've got to be careful not to burn their stuff up trying to do that.
Great opportunity in the young guns as well, with Caleb Bacon not qualifying, with Ben Mayer obviously up there having won the last race, and with Annunziata starting right at the back. Great opportunity for Ben Mayer to move forward now.
You bet. Yeah, no, and then we're going to get going green here, but yeah, absolutely, for the young guns, this is a great opportunity.
On the left-hand side is your two-time champion from a couple of years ago, Rafa Matos in pole position, and alongside him is returning Evan Slater, but Rafa Matos gets a blinder down the San Posey Straight. In fact, in front of the great man himself, and that was the perfect start by the Brazilian. Slater slots into third, and around the outside goes Ben Mayer, trying to make it happen. If he can hold that line, he may well take third. Everybody cleanly through the Mission Foods. Big Ben for the first time, and Ben Mayer already jostling for position and trying to get into second place. Lostowski's up there as well. He's behind Merrill, and in what, 5th, 6th place at the moment.
Yeah, Ben Mayer's doing a great job. He's developed so well as a driver, and I know you can speak a lot to that because you've been a big part of that there, Tyler, and that young...
He's got a good coach, I think.
Yeah, that's what I know for a fact he's got a good coach. But, yeah, it's just so impressive to see the jump that he's made even in the last 2-3 races.
In all seriousness, you've been helping this kid. Tell us what you've been working with.
Yeah, I mean, overall, right, he doesn't have a ton of experience. He's always been quick in what he's run, but he's not got the big wins to prove it. And so I think he really kind of got over that hump at St. Louis, you know, last time out. And I think he's just really maturing over the last several races, you know, from the end of last year when I started working with him.
Yeah, it shows. I mean, it shows in the performances that we've seen. Obviously, he's a winner now in this great class. And you know, Rafa got a great jump there. And Rafa's one of the best at starts and restarts. It bit him, at Worldwide Technology but when you're on pole, you set it, and you set that pace to the line, and he did a good job of doing that. And it looks like Evan got back around Ben Mayer here to keep that position, to keep that P2, and again, kind of a colleague of ours up here in the booth, having Evan Slater back out there on the racetrack, and looking forward to also getting you back out there on the racetrack here too soon.
Well, we will. We'll see you at Pittsburgh.
Pittsburgh.
Yeah.
I'll be back in the Nitro number 40 at Pittsburgh in 2 weeks. So looking forward to that opportunity.
Oh wait, you gotta show up and show the kids that you're teaching how to do it.
I better be able to show up and do it for sure.
Walk the talk. I love it. So we're looking at the 77. That, of course, is Jake Drew. We haven't mentioned him too much. He set up the car for Conor Mosak, something you've had to do over the years. Never easy jumping into different cars, but he chose the good one.
Yeah, no, and absolutely. And that's another one. Jake Drew just came out of nowhere, coming into the TA2 class here. Him and Connor Zilic drove karts together a lot, and so it's like, we got like a Connor Zilic Jr. out there with Jake Drew doing the job. Dropping wheels on the uphill,
moment.
that's a brave move. That's a brave move.
Yeah, I'm not sure if that was Jake Drew or Thomas Merrill. I know Thomas Merrill had a moment there in practice, I believe, where he got sideways and off in the dirt. So got to keep it under you there, and we've got a long race ahead of us here.
So then, Matos, Slater, Mayer, Drew, Merrill, that's your top five. Lostowski in sixth. Sed Jr. 7th, Ruggiero in 8th, the 17-year-old. Barry Bowes leading the Pro-Am at the moment in 9th position, and then Tom Sheehan also in Pro-Am in 10th position. Prochuk just behind him, another local, literally from Chicago with HP Tuners. Hurley in 12th. He had all sorts of problems, had a sway bar issue, and the car was all over the place in first practice. They kind of got it right, but he still didn't qualify where he wanted to. But what a great move for Annunziata. Right up there in 13th place. More to come, though.
We've got Connor Mosak here in pit lane.
Yeah, Connor Mosak in pit lane. Looks like a puncher, boys. Oh, it is.
Oh,
nasty.
No. Yeah. Left rear puncture there. So back in the back of the field there, anything could have happened. And, I'm like trying to see if the valve stem is still on the wheel, because a lot of times if you make wheel-to-wheel contact, you can rip the valve stem off, and that'll take the tire down, and that'll cause that to start to shred there. So let's see what we can see here, if anything, on the replay.
What would cause that? Would it be debris, or could it be one of many things, I suppose?
Yeah, I mean, it could be just contact.
There's the answer. Thank you, my director.
Yeah, that's
like
actually
Jake Drew.
Oh, well, he could be headed for a puncher.
He got away with one there.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah.
But yeah, it
you
can't
made
be that
that
simple.
call.
Yeah, very simple. There's the Hendricks Motorsport painted car, or Boris said, Jr., you're not deceived. It's not Kyle Larson, although he'll be in action tomorrow, but it's great to see Hendricks represented all over the United States this weekend at Charlotte, at Indy, and here at Trans Am with young Boris said, the 18-year-old.
I'd like to point out Thomas Annunziata from the back of the
I know.
field to 12th.
Where did that happen? How the heck did he do that?
Especially here, right? This is not an easy place. Like as you alluded to earlier, Tyler, you got really one passing zone coming into the Mission Foods Big Bend here, turns 1 and 2. And you have to be risky for that one. You have to really get that run and dive in and be willing to be the last one on the brakes and be a little sideways.
Yeah, we saw into the Nitro 10. I mean, he's got huge pace and just didn't get to really show it in qualifying, even though he was up front and had that penalty. But I was expecting him to be able to drive through the field, but man, he's making progress really fast here.
Well, Thomas had problems. He, of course, was third here last year in the race, so we know he's good around here. But in qualifying, he had he stalled and had to come back in, and it just went sideways, didn't it?
Yeah, it was unfortunate for him. Yeah, had electrical problem, and then kind of scrambling to get that fixed to get back out on track to make a lap. Did some unapproved adjustments, so unfortunately had to serve that penalty.
We welcome our viewers back to Lime Rock, where Annunziata is absolutely siding his way through the field. He's up to 11th place now, having started at the back. Sadly, another one at the back was Conor Mosak, but he's going to stay there because he's come in with a puncture just before you left us on MAV. Conor Mosak, who's been racing pretty hard, he's doing the triple. Never mind Kyle Larson doing the double. He was doing the triple, ARCA, truck racing, and now Trans Am today, but unfortunately it's ended pretty quickly. And at the front, Matos, though, leading by, well, not much. Slater right there with him. And, in fact, you could throw a blanket over the top four. Good start from Drew. Jake Drew, there he is in the number 77. He chose that number instead of the 7 because he set up the car, and he was fastest, actually, in the first practice, or at least front row, second fastest, I think. And so Jake from Fullerton, California, former ARCA champion, The 24-year-old going very well, and even though he's new to Trans Am, he's right there with our regulars.
And this battle for fifth is just righteous. So you got Thomas Merrill, who's defending like the defense of all defenders every time we get on the front straightaway here. And Adrian Vlastowski, this is a home track for him. So this is like him driving the back of his hand every lap. And then what all this battle has brought in is the youngster Boris Said Jr. in the 75 has tagged right on this. Thomas, I would love to see Adrian get this run, because if Adrian gets around, I think the 26 of Thomas Merrill, Adrian's going to set sail and have something for those top four, I feel.
Yeah, and it looked to me, anyway, that Thomas not looking as planted as he often does in that car. Looked a little bit loose when we were on board there with Adrian Lostowski. Lostowski is definitely wanting to impress today. He's got 100-plus guests here this weekend.
And he's looking to get this run. Now, if I were Adrian here, Tyler, and I don't know how you feel about this, I would kind of maybe, do the outside move. Keep him pinched through Big Bend. And then if you can hold the outside around turn 2, you have the advantage on the left-hander, and the left-hander is such a tight exit, you could get that cleared.
Yeah, it looks like Merrill's struggling a little bit there off the Bennett Bridge Hall downhill and not getting a great run down the straightaway. And, I think if Adrian could just time that a little bit differently and get that run into our Mission Foods Big Bend, he may be able to hang on the outside and be in a really good spot then to take over in 3.
There is Merrill and Lostowski with the new colors this year for the Fast Auto team from Brooklyn, New York. So a local man, if you will, hence the amount of guests here. But this is their home race. Whoa, Merrill getting a little leery as he came through 6 there, down the Bennett Bridge Hall, downhill and into the final turn. And he is sliding that car and pushing it further than he wants. Matos, though, looks comfortable compared to Thomas Merrill, the former champion from 22. And he's under real pressure now from Lostowski.
Yeah, it looked like he tried to make the exact move that Adam was talking about right there to the outside. Just couldn't get in deep enough quite to stick it.
All right, guys, where's the surprise move? The obvious is into turn 1. Is there anywhere where you can nip and surprise?
Right here. Like you, after the left-hander, just straighten it out and dive to that apex. And then, you kind of play a little bit of the protection game down the Paul Newman straightaway there through the S's of the Paul Newman straight. And but that's a sneak move. That's a sneak move, and you better have it. Like you can't like half have it, and you got to fully commit to it because the consequences are great for both of you.
I remember you took 10 years off our cameraman Ron when you joined him at the end of the Paul Newman straight a couple of years ago.
Yeah, I took at least a year or 2 off of me as well.
You're listening to Adam Andretti, who will be in action tomorrow, already a winner this season, and of course Tyler Casera, who you'll see in Axburn in Pittsburgh for the Nitro Motorsport team. So we've got 2 of the best who know this track well. But Lostowski's the story, and he's trying desperately to get past Merrill. But Merrill, being the former champion he is holding on. Boris Said, as you mentioned, has now joined this battle, and he's now going to try and take advantage of both of them.
And I think there's a lot of drivers in this field that would have used a chrome horn by now, but you're not going to get that out of Adrian. He is like as clean as they come. I've raced side by side with the guy. I've raced back and forth. I mean, the guy's just super, super, super clean. So he's not going to do anything like that. I don't see Boris Jr. doing anything like that as well. But there's definitely some people in this field that wouldn't be as patient as Adrian. I think you agree right there, Tyler.
Yeah, for sure. There's a lot of guys that are super aggressive, and Thomas probably would not be having as great of a time racing with them. But Adrian showed a lot of pace early in the weekend, and I think maybe just didn't have the greatest qualifying, but like you said, I think if he can get by Merrill here, I think he may have something for the front 4.
I look at Adrian like he's back there like, just bring me a restart. Just bring me a restart. That's what he's kind of begging for now. And I mean, even Thomas is protective on the inside of the left-hander, because you can also snooker in there if someone's taking the actual line of the left-hander, because it's a super late apex. And if you leave that door open and you're sitting here starting to get impatient like Adrian, you're gonna start to take any gap that you can find. And Thomas is just doing what Thomas Merrill does as a champion, and just makes that car super, super wide. And he's salvaging this, right? Like, he knows he's got himself a points. Oh! Yeah, that was a big drop off. He knows he has a points lead, and it's scarce. And number P2 in the points is leading this thing and handily.
Is it me, or is he pushing harder than he actually wants to at this point?
I think he's pushing really hard at the moment to try to defend. I think he knows how important the track position is. So he's using up some of his stuff. But look here, we've got Thomas Annunziata who's going to join this battle really quick.
He's all over Gio Ruggiero right now, his teammate, the 17-year-old Annunziata, not much older. I think he's only 18. And great to have these youngsters on their way up. I talked to Gio yesterday, and he's moved from his home of Massachusetts to North Carolina, looking for that NASCAR dream, of course. And Annunziata, another one on his way up. And we've got so many juniors. Again, Merrill touches the grass. Again, it's a little bit frightening to watch. But Merrill has it all in hand, the man from Salinas, California.
Yeah, Merrill doesn't lack car control in any way, shape, or form. He's always been one of those that you can rely on with that car control out there. Yeah, he's very protective of this spot, which, you know, like you can't fault him for it. I mean, I'm sure Adrian's been climbing on the radio like block him, but I haven't seen anything really reactionary, and he's been leaving the outside open. So
Annunziata making his move on Ruggiero.
And I tell you, that might be a strategy for Adrian. You know, as hard as it is, Thomas is coming, and you know he came from the back of the field. Maybe you let Thomas pick that back, or let the Thomases duke it out in front of you,
that'd be interesting.
and open up that door and maybe bring you to the rest of the fight. So we'll see what kind of strategy Adrian plays, as this 90 car is definitely going to catch him here before long.
Yeah,
Now, you were saying, Tyler, before we started, you expect safety cars here, but you can't plan for it.
You can never plan for it, right? But just you got to look back at the trends, right? And traditionally we have 3 or 4 full course yellows. Not sure what we're going to see today here, but you know, these guys are going all out like we won't have them. But you know, if we do, it's going to play into some of these guys' hands.
Here we go again then, another chance. Here comes Annunziata on the inside of Ruggiero, and he makes it stick. Lovely move by the 90, and he is siding his way through. Started in 20th position, and look at him go.
And this is a very physical track as well, and it's a very hot day out here today. So it's toward, I would say, when we start to get around the halfway point of this race, if we've been solid green, we're going to start to see maybe some of those exhaustion mistakes happen, and that's when you know, the full course cautions can rear their ugly head. But
guys, textbook overtake.
Yeah, this is coming in from Thomas Annunziata. Gets good late braking. The door was left open. You know, Gio did not make that hard on him at all. Did not challenge or contest. And I tell you, there's some strategy there too. You know, this is a teammate as well. I know where he started, and he caught me in 16 laps. Let me see what I can learn, right? Let me see if I can. And he can't even stick to the bumper. So Thomas just has crazy pace.
Yeah, Gio's a really, really smart young driver. You know, comes from short tracks and circle track stuff. Really had never done road racing before we started working with him early in the year. And, you know, he's showed a tremendous amount of improvement on these road courses.
Matos, Slater, and Mayer. More to come, though. 16 of the 68. Oh! Off goes the 25 of Durban.
There's that first full course.
Almost ended up in Durban, South Africa, that one. Chris Durban off in the Amsol 25, spins it round, hits the barrier. Well, he's
right in front of the leaders.
We're going to stay
right
green.
in front of the
we'll
leaders.
Probably stay green.
Wow, that is amazing. I don't think I'd ever predicted that would have stayed green, but it could be.
Or maybe not. It looks like everyone slowed down.
Let's have a look at a replay.
I think
guys,
they got in full course.
Well, we talked about classic overtake. This is a classic mistake at Lime Rock.
Yeah, the drop of a wheel on the X of the downhill is not favorable. You better have the wheel straight. Let's just say that. Once that thing hits the grass, and you can see it, like when you're driving this track, the exit of West Bend, you know, when you get to the Cube 3 architecture West Bend, the exit of that, you got the drop off skid marks to the inside, and the same thing on that Bennett Bridge Hall downhill is
skid marks on the outside and on the inside.
Yeah, they go straight from dropping the wheel straight on into the inside wall.
Yeah, those are the kind of spots on the track where you get the ruts, right? And I think in the drivers' meeting they told everybody that they had filled all of those. So I think everybody saw that as like fair game to use as much of the track out as they wanted.
They told us that Atlanta too, and I about just ripped the whole left front off the thing when I dropped it in the pothole there down the S's. So I take that with a grain of salt. Now I go see it with my own 2 eyes, you know.
Yeah, a lot of grass though right there on the track, and these cars are very, very susceptible to overheating. They pick up a lot of debris. It's pretty tricky to get that stuff off too, especially if you're in Rafa's position where you don't have another car in front where you can tuck up under caution here and drop that debris.
Yeah, no, it's a really good point because these things suck grass up like a vacuum cleaner inside. And there's been solutions that we've seen in the past, and I know Mike Cope used to always come to like place like Mid-Ohio where there's a big chance of grass coming on because of people dropping, and he would come with these chains, these like self-cleaning chains that would hang off the grill and just slap that grass right off the grill. But you make a great point. If you're up front, you have no options. You don't have someone to tuck up behind, maybe a pace car.
Well, we're under safety here at the moment. Our first major caution after 17 laps. Chris Durban going slightly wide at 7. and we're going to take another look at it because it has changed the face of this race. Durban, though, got away with it. How much damage, I don't know. And again, boys, it's a classic problem you have here at Lime Rock. Hit the grass, it's a bit like Mid-Ohio, and it can be over quickly.
Yeah, and really good not to collect anyone. There's a lot to be said for the cars that were behind Chris at that point. They did an awesome job at avoiding any kind of contact as he was sliding off in front of them, because you start flying blind too, right? The dust and the smoke and everything in front of you, and it becomes a little bit less predictable on what that car's going to do.
Yeah, the splitters on these cars, especially when you get off, they're like a big shovel, right? So it starts scooping grass, and you literally lose your steering. I mean, the thing is just sliding on that splitter. So that's kind of why you saw him not really be able to control that once he got off, and he was sort of just along for the ride at that point.
Well, the big story so far, obviously the top three, Matos, Slater, and Mayer, that's how he started. No change at the front between the top six, but the meek mover has to be Annunziata. He's been fantastic in the number 90. He just got past Ruggiero a couple of laps ago and is on his way, and this restart could be pivotal for his race hopes. He's come from nowhere. He was third here last year. He did set a time in qualifying, but it was taken away, and he would have been on the front row. So he's trying to make amends, is Annunziata. He's, of course, one of our top young guns. He doesn't want to lose out in that battle either. Brent Cruz is doing late model racing this weekend, so he is away too. Tyler Gonzalez, also who had a bright start. And we've got several drivers this year who kind of will come in, like a Conor Mosack, a Brent Cruz, Tyler Gonzalez, Austin Green, Jake Drew, who are all going to take points away from the championship regulars, which is what makes this 2024 season so exciting. And then put Tyler Casera in, he's bound to get a podium at Pittsburgh. And so you never know. And there's another guy called Andretti, who does a bit of TA2 as well.
Yeah, I got one coming up. We got Mid-Ohio. We've been doing some preparing for that and getting ready for that event. It's John Cloud and Ultimate Headers home race, so we want to make sure we show well there. This class is so difficult anymore.
Is it tough doing both races in the weekend?
No, it's actually I'm really, especially Mid-Ohio, looking forward to it because it's a new surface. So you're going to want twice as much time on that surface to know what it's doing from moment to moment. So I'm kind of looking forward to that little bit of an advantage. And you got to prepare. You got to prepare fluids, make sure that you keep up on your fluids. And you got to make sure whatever the second race is, you start it as fresh as you started the first race. So you got to just take care of your body and things like that over the weekend and keep your head clean, your mind clean and clear. And then you could go push in both those.
Here we go. Lights off on the safety car, which means that now Rafa Matos in the 60 and the Concord flag will fly again for Rafa as he gets the restart, but will he get away as well as he did? And the first start from a rolling start, he did pretty darn good that time. Here we go again, down the Sam Posey straight. Great to have the great Sam Posey here with Skip Barber this weekend. And it is a good start. I'm looking out of the window of the tower, and he did get away well. Jake Drew looking for a position. Merrill trying to get past too. Mayer gets away well. But it is going to be, once again, Rafa Matos who leads them. Evan Slater doing a good job on his return to racing. Hasn't been in a car for a while, but he never lose it, and he's such a youngster. He's been in the comms booth, is literally itching to get out there, and I'm sure Tyler and Adam are doing the same here this afternoon. But you're watching 20 laps gone of the 68 here in a Memorial Weekend Classic here, part of the Speed Tour here on our Cube 3 Architecture TA2 Series presented by Pirelli. There is Evan Slater.
Evan had a great run going here last year up until, I think they had some mechanicals, but he was ripping around here last year. Like the best run that they had, I think all year long over there at Showtime last year was, their TA2 class was here with Evan. So I'm not surprised to see the young man doing the job that he's doing up here. You gotta wake up pretty early in the morning to snooker Rafa into something. So we'll see what happens here. And got a little bit of a hood that came off here on the front straightaway, right?
I think that was Weisberg. Yeah, I'm not sure, but it was one of the...
Well, it landed upside down, so we can't see the sponsor to even help us. They all look the same. It's a 5-star hood.
So it looks like Annunziata there on that restart. He got by Boris Said Jr. and leapfrogged ahead of Adrian Lostowski. And then Boris Said made a pass by Lostowski there, so they switched spots. It's a bit of a shake-up here.
Big time, yeah.
Fifth to eighth.
Here I was thinking Adrian wanted a restart, and the looks of it, by the proof of it, the last thing he wanted was that restart because, it looks like he lost 2 spots on that. And Thomas seems to, I don't know if he let the tires cool down and the thing came back to him, but the car seems more solid under him on this restart than what we had before.
Wow, fascinating stuff from Thomas Annunziata, the young Californian who came in here, saw what Brent Cruz, his buddy, was doing, and said, I want a bit of that. And he's never looked back since. There's the car we're talking about.
Michelle Abate.
Michelle
Abate.
Abate.
Her hood is missing.
Yep.
Not sure if that just came off or if that's a result of some damage there.
Yeah, contact. Could it be?
It could be contact. You know, the hood pins are fairly fragile, so you get into somebody and it'll pop those, and she may have just that may have been what happened.
I mean,
there.
it doesn't stop you driving the car, but it's got to be.
Yeah, I mean, I don't.
Distracting.
Yeah, it shouldn't affect much of anything. I mean, the air's not going to move as clean over it, but this is not the most aerosensitive. It looks like Annunziata got a really good run up the uphill on Merrill in the background there. We might get a look at that as they come down the San Posi Straight to see if Annunziata was actually able to. Because I was interested to see actually as much as he got the pass completed. We see him come down the straightaway. I was interested because how Annunziata was going to play that because. For lap after lap, Adrian didn't have an answer to Thomas, and maybe right there, if Adrian was looking and he gets close.
Oh, Durbin off again. So the 25 has already had one situation, and it looks like another one building here, and this is going nowhere. He's just at the corner of turn 6 where my good man Joe is, and he's got him dialed in. And, he's come to a pretty, looks like
not a good spot
finish.
on the track. On the outside.
That's going to have to be another safety car, in my opinion.
I have a feeling that we're getting close to that
Because that's
call.
a fast, fourth gear right-hander? We'll see it now, you see.
Yeah, that's Cube 3 Architecture West Bend, and that's a tricky spot to be sitting. Really I would not be very comfortable sitting there.
No, and I think what Tim Richter's looking at to see if he can refire and get going, and it's not happening. So I would see that they'll probably. Discretion's a better part of valor on that one.
Well, after that restart last time, Annunziata's going to be licking his lips because he's in the top 6 now. Just a reminder, Matos, Slater, Mayer, that's your top 3. Then it's Drew, and Annunziata now 5th, ahead of Merrill. Wow. Boris said still 7th, Lostowski 8th now, Ruggiero 9th, and Hurley rounding out the top 10 as we go on board with Doug Winston.
The Bring Back the Trades, Ford
That's
Mustang, and Doug Winston. If you see him at all on any of the social media channels, that is a man that does a great job of promoting Bring Back the Trades. He's a tradesman himself, so it's a really, really special part there. That looked like one of the bacon cars, so it was either Jared or Caleb himself.
That looked like crispy bacon, actually. No, Caleb's car looked damaged, didn't it? And he's another one that's had to come through.
It was either Caleb or Jared. I couldn't tell which. They're so similarly liveried, and it's very difficult to tell until you get a really clean shot at it. But, wow, we've got Boris Jr. here now right up tucked underneath Thomas Merrill. And the car, the 26, looked like it fired off okay but once the temperatures came up in the tire and the pressures came up, it looks like that car just it just started to lose its drivability.
And you can see Annunziata from above all over the back of Jake Drew. There he is in the green and black, menacing down the Paul Newman straight. Merrill dropped off, and he's got Boris Seb behind him and Lostowski right behind him. We are under caution. Durbin can't move, and therefore no surprise. There's Abate's car. Now, if you look a bit further back, there's the damaged car of Bacon, and that looks bad.
That's a Jared Odrick.
That's Jared, okay.
Yeah, that's a pretty good cave-in up there on the front. But
I
don't see tire smoke or anything. If he doesn't have any rubs, no rubs, just go.
Well, this is Odrick's car, the 81.
Yeah.
And,
it's not favorable for the aero.
No. Well, he is an ex-NFL footballer, so he'll just sweep it off.
Yeah.
They'll probably
play for the Dolphins.
They'll probably want to come down and cut that fender off and get it clear of the tire and make sure he doesn't have an issue there and send him back out.
Yeah, you could take advantage of the full course caution, get that done, not lose any extra time, and I'm sure I'd be guessing that that's what they'll go ahead and do there.
Guys, what kind of information are you either giving if you're coaching or wanting to receive at this point in the race?
Yeah, I mean, as a the crew on pit road, right? They want to know how the car is handling. How is it firing off, and how is it running throughout a race run here? Is the car getting loose or is it getting tight?
What can they do?
Well, they can't really do too much, but they can kind of help to coach those drivers on, maybe what the drivers around them are doing, what they're, things like we're seeing here in the booth. The crew have that same perspective, so they can feed that information to the driver and then kind of help the driver adjust maybe what they're doing in the car.
And how does the car change once you've still got the heat in the car, but now it's slowed down, you're not getting the airflow across it, it's heating up quickly?
Yeah, for me, if I'm really struggling with the car that's coming up, that's on hot pressures and something like that, I really try and get things as cool as possible. Don't do a lot of scrub. Try and stay off the brake pedal, let those things cool, and try and cool the tire internally and bring those pressures down to get. But at the same time, it's a fine line, too, because you can't get the brakes too cold that when you fire off on a restart and go down to turn 1, it leaves you vulnerable. You want to be able to attack. So.
And also, you'll be looking at this and then weighing up when you want to get all those temperatures back up.
Yeah, exactly.
As you can see, we've got a couple of laps.
Yeah,
so there's no panic right now.
No, absolutely not. And there wasn't much spread on the field because, so everyone bunched up pretty quick. And but yeah, I mean, the only tool you have in the car is a brake bias adjustment, and so they may help you remind of that. I had a really AJ Hendrickson was fantastic on the radio because I would come back with issues, and if the front was too positive, he would have some tips on how to take that out of there. And so yeah, it depends too, like what kind of relationship you have with and what kind of trust you have with what's going on in the pits. But yeah, definitely getting the information to him, what it's doing in the run, and making sure that they're staying calm too in the pits. You want to ensure that your team, you're kind of you're the leader there. You want to make sure your team. Good shot of Eric Clayton here. Doesn't want to be on pit lane. Looks like we got a little cave in on the front. And again, go back to the overheating issues. If you don't have clean airflow up front, these things don't like that.
There's Odrick in there as well, using the safety to get in there. And Tony, I can see rushing down. I misspoke earlier. Connor Mosack, of course, is a regular in the series, but he's been around so many years now. And, of course, when he moved on to Xfinity, we thought he was gone forever, but he's come back full time. And I think he's still young enough where I think he's doing the right thing because he just wants to race, but he's got the talent to go all the way to the Cup, I think. And the fact that he's doing as much racing as he is, 3 races this weekend, shows you how dedicated he is, A, to his art and business, but also to Trans Am and what it means to be as a youngster in Trans Am.
I tell you what I've been able to observe. I've been around this series now 10 years, and what I've observed is the drivers that come through this class of racing and go on. We see success for a reason. This is a very challenging way, but you also learn how to race here. You learn how to race close, side by side, clean, and so yeah, it's a TA2 is a pretty special place to hone those skills and cut your teeth like that.
And I think it would surprise people. Adam, you've been around this scene a long time, but Tyler, they're like yourself and Connor Zillage. Miatas can be an entry that you wouldn't expect to go. All right, I'll do the Miata or the MX-5 Cup or something like that, and then move on to Trans Am. It seems incongruent, but it isn't.
Well, he's won.
Yep.
Tyler's won. He was stomping their butts out there and in the Spec Miata stuff.
I remember it well.
And then come and show. He introduced himself to the Trans Am world that weekend in Watkins Glen. I'll never forget. So we were like, this Tyler Casera. I've watched him in the club level, but no idea. And so speak of that. I think is what you're saying. Speak to the translation of that.
We'll go down to Ben first, but I do want to hear about that afterwards because it's an important transition. Ben, down to you.
I want to hear about that as well, Jonathan, but I'm right here with Cody Lane with Nitro Motorsports. Thomas Annunziata had a poor qualifying yesterday, which is not like him. He's usually a good qualifier. Started 20th, but has worked his way up to 5th in a track that is very difficult to pass. So, Cody, this has got to be doing pretty well. And what's your driver saying?
Yeah, he's very confident in what he's got as a piece. Obviously we had some issues in qualifying, but he's made his way back up to 5th. And I think we have a piece to keep moving forward. Just have to be smart and see if we can't get around these guys.
Nice. And I see Joe Claridge over here with Nitro. And, Joe, you've got 3 cars in the top 5 with Nitro. That's got to feel really good.
It feels great, obviously. It always does feel good anytime any of the cars that are Nitro are up front. We're all our drivers are doing a great job. Michelle's P4 technically in Pro-Am right now. So hopefully we put them all up there. But you weren't supposed to interview. I was just supposed to mess with Cody.
I love it. Well, Jonathan, as you know, Adam Andretti has some very interesting stories. So, Adam, I didn't mean to cut you off, but please continue after this green flag. Back to you.
Come on, Ben. Maybe a safety car. We haven't got time for Adam's stories at this point. We need another 100-mile race. But we were talking about that transition from the junior levels to Tyler, coming from a spec series like Miata and then jumping into Trans Am. It is possible.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, if you look at the path that a lot of these youngsters have taken, it's actually coming from go-karts.
Right.
And many of them have gone from go-karts to a spec Miata or a spec racer Ford. And they've gone then into Trans Am and they've had success. I think a lot of it, these cars are very analog. There's no there's no driver aids. It's, you know, that traction control is your right foot and your ABS is your left foot. And that's very much the same, you know, in a spec Miata. And something that's really difficult to learn later is momentum and corner entry speed.
Because those are momentum championships.
Absolutely. Yeah. And these cars, it rewards that, and you tend to find that you have to dial yourself back as one of those drivers jumping into one of these cars. So I think it's an easier transition to go from something slower and like a Miata or a Spec Racer Ford and then stepping into one of these where you have to dial yourself back versus trying to dial yourself up.
I say it all the time. This is a 550 horsepower MX-5 Cup car. You know,
Completely.
because it's momentum car. Make no bones about it, momentum car. But like, to your point, you have to manage the throttle. You have to manage the actions and that the driver can do, and that's what makes it such a great tool to move up from here. But also, it's also why drivers like Rafa Matos and yourself and myself, why we love being in TA2. They're great race cars to drive because you got the power on top of it.
Yeah, of course, Rafa Matos from Brazil started off in stock cars, but then became an Indy Lights. Brilliant Rookie of the Year and a Rookie of the Year in Indy 2 before he turned back to stock cars. And so, yeah, you can get different walks of life, different types of racing drivers, but everyone to a man or a woman says that they love Trans Am. It is exactly that, pure racing, where your foot, your input is the key, and I think that's what all of you guys have put across to me that you enjoy.
Yeah, this series, these cars, everything about this for me, you know, I love this. I love these cars and the experience of driving and being a part of the series. So, you know, I feel like I could spend my time doing, you know, coaching and driving anywhere. And to be honest, like, this is where I want to be.
Yeah, me too. I feel the same way. And that's why I've found my home here and enjoy and love this Trans Am series and the paddock. I've been racing my whole life, been around racing my whole life, and been in so many different paddocks. And the people, the depth of people inside this paddock is second to none. And I just, you know, for me, I love to be. And then the fans, you know, you show up at Memorial Day weekend here in Lime Rock Park, and the fans are here in droves. And I just got done doing a meet and greet with some of the VIPs here, and it's just the excitement is palpable here. You got them flooding the hill, and I was telling them, I was like, listen, we're under these cautions and we're in warm-up laps. That's not lost upon us drivers. We see all that, and it inspires us. If we don't have fans to race for, what are we doing this for, you know, right?
Even a couple of years ago when we ran here in the rain, right, you and I both raced against each other.
Yeah.
And it was a half wet, half dry race, and, I mean, that hill was still packed.
Still packed.
Yeah. Well, it looks as though I just heard from race control we're going to go green after this, and this is going to be important. Lap 30, it's a kind of turning point in the race, isn't it, guys? You could go green now all the way to the end if everything's clean, but you're not banking on it.
No, I mean, we went back-to-back with yellows, right? I mean, you know, pretty quick, so you just never know. And a lot of times cautions breed cautions.
Yeah, that's true.
I was going to say, too, you know, Adam brought up a point about fatigue. This is a very demanding track, and so everyone is fresh early in the race. We went through a few laps.
Yeah.
Now they're getting tired. People are making mistakes, and we're going to go back to green here, it looks like, and see what Annunziata can do to move forward.
Let's see if the maestro, Rafa Matos of Brazil, can do it again for the third time of asking. Evan Slater has got to try to do something different or better than he's done before because he just hasn't had the better of the man in front of him. We're going to watch him try to catch him as away they go then. And a little break there just to slow him down. And away he went. That was nicely done by Rafa Matos. And through goes Jake Drew, and Annunziata still all over the back of him trying to make his way. As whoa, a turn around there.
Barry Bowes, it looks like backwards.
Barry Bowes it is, on board with the Texan, gets turned around at the restart, somebody else going wide, debris on the track as well.
Really good job by their other competitors not to do worse than that. I mean, that could have been another pile up, and everyone seemed to miss. But we have a bumper sitting on the track in West Bend, so unless they get, you know, there's a big gap now. So if safety crew can get out there, run and grab that bumper and bring it in. But I don't know what the rules are here on that.
For those who aren't English listening in, I'll say it's a fender that's out there.
Huh?
You said a bumper.
It's a bumper bar, actually. It's the
Here we go.
It's
Here's
the steel piece.
So, guys, what do you see? Midfield, we're just about to see it from here.
we saw the back end of it, so you don't know if he had some help or if it just got wheel hop or whatever the case may be. But without seeing where the start of that, we really don't know.
Yeah, Bartet taking avoiding action. 33 of the 68 gone. Rafa Matos continues to lead. It's been the same at the front throughout this race with the top three of Matos, Slater, and Mayer. Drew's held on to fourth. Annunciata's the big mover. An incredible race by him. Thomas Annunciata, the man you're looking at right now, chasing down Jake Drew, and that's going to be an interesting battle because they are teammates, and it's just going to be interesting this whole race, isn't it?
Yeah.
Excuse me, Jake Drew, of course, silver hair. What am I talking about?
Yeah, it wasn't.
And what a start they've had.
It wasn't a matter, I think, of if Thomas Annunziata was going to get to the front. It was when and how much is he going to have left.
So Jake trying to defend here. The man from Fullerton, California.
Yeah, I wonder what happened to that bumper bar. That was sitting right on the track,
Yeah.
and
I think the safety went out there, and safety crew the corner workers got out there and cruised it in. So
that's brave on a short track like this.
It is, and I'm sure other corner were calling where the leader was. Leaders here, and for timing wise. But I hats off because it kept us green. We didn't have to go right back down, and Thomas still struggling. Thomas Merrill looks in the background, still struggling with the back end of that car. But I tell you, he's not struggling with the back end of the car. Is that 90 of Thomas Annunziata. That thing is just stuck to the track, glued. And well, as I say it, right, they love to make liars out of me up here. But he's going to get that run here on Jake Drew, I believe. And I tell you what I like, Annunziata has been setting people up on the uphill. You can grab a little bit more bravery on the uphill there.
So there's Michelle Abate with that hood removed, came off, and of course she's racing in memory of her brother Michael, and incidentally, sadly lost his life this time last year, did Michael, from Nevada, and they've named a highway, or part of the highway, after his memory, a nice thing just outside the Las Vegas Speedway, so great to see him honored. He was a highway patrolman, so somewhat apt that on Memorial Weekend we can also remember some of the guys that have given their service in law and order.
And before he was a highway patrolman, he was a race car driver.
That's right.
Yeah, he was a heck of a race car driver, Michael Abate, and I know that that was a big hit for their family and for Michelle, and I personally know what it's like to lose a brother. It's one of the bigger challenges you're going to face in your life. You'll miss them every day. And but yeah, Memorial Day weekend for all those out there. We race with heavy hearts this weekend. We race for you and the memory of those that you may have lost. And but know that you're loved and cherished in this country, and for those sacrifices, the ultimate sacrifice.
Well, we haven't seen any more cautions, and right now it's going to get very interesting because this is the point I mentioned to Tyler earlier in the day, which was now we're getting into traffic, and now the race changes. It's not about being fast, it's about being clever.
Yeah, the racecraft is going to start to come into play here as we start to catch a lap traffic, and how you pick your way through is going to dictate whether you can pull away or you're going to give the guys a shot to get by you. So they're going to be trying to strategize their moves and timing and try to take advantage of it as much as you are.
Yeah, this is one of those tracks where it's so important to time it, right? You'll have to give up some time in areas that you know that aren't going to kill you, and you'll give up that time so that you can actually have the traffic in the right time at the right place.
Well, we welcome our viewers back on MAV TV, and it's still Matos, Slater, and Mayer. We're under racing conditions again. You've missed nothing. Drew still fourth. Annunciata, the man on the move, still fifth, and Merrill struggling somewhat in sixth position, our championship leader, but he's in the points and going strong. And we're still waiting for Slater to try to make a move.
I feel like what we're seeing out of Annunciata, too, is classic. I had to use so much of my car to get to this point. And now I'm at the pointy end of the field where there's just a lot more challenging to get around, and he needs that little bit of race car that he had to use up to get there, to get past these last four spots to challenge for the lead. But he's doing a fantastic job nonetheless. And again, hats off to not our top runners, right? Matos, the legend, the veteran out there, just showing these youngsters how it's done. and Slater and Mayer, you know, just back there learning the craft along with Jake Drew. So this is what it's all about. And I think I've said it before, but there's going to be a time in the careers of these young drivers that they're going to really appreciate the fact that they had to race against a Rafa Matos, a Tyler Casera, you know, these drivers, Mike Skeen, these drivers out there, because they're some of the best in the world. And when you beat them, you know you've done something. And it's only going to make it easier when you're going up against 20 or 30 of the best in the world at that next level of your sport.
Yeah, that's why when you see Connor Mosack jump into the trucks like last night at Charlotte, he's not sitting in 28th, he's sitting in the top 10. And even against Heim and a few of the other guys that have been there a long time. And that's, I think, the beauty of what Tony Perella's set up here, is that these youngsters, as you quite rightly point out, cut their teeth here in an environment that's safe, friendly, and learning from the maestros and friendly people in this paddock, that you can really move forward quickly here. It's one of those environments.
And Thomas Merrill, another one of those that they're going to appreciate that they raced against, you know, because, again, they pushed them to the limit. And, I mean, just alone what Thomas was showing about how to protect your position, what he's showing Boris Jr. right now on protecting your position, that is a priceless lesson in our sport right here.
You know, quite race for Ben Mayer, but he's holding on to that third place. And after the win last time out at St. Louis, I mean, I'll ask you, Tyler, I mean, his confidence, I mean, he's only 15, but he's got bags of confidence. I've met with the family. They're fun, but that must have really helped him.
Yeah, I think it helped him validate his potential, right? Like I said, he's always been fast, but he's never really gotten the big wins that I think maybe a Connor Zillich or a Brent Cruz, you know, him and Brent Cruz were really the genesis of Nitro Kart.
Yep.
So, you know, we kind of forget about that, I guess. And, you know, his win at St. Louis really validated, I think, what his potential is.
Absolutely, and he did it in dominant fashion. Like, he did not let go. And then St. Louis is not an easy place, you know, especially with tire tech that they get there and having to manage that. No, he drove himself an absolutely brilliant race.
Well, you know, we haven't mentioned it too much, but best results of the year for Boris Said Jr. last time out. In fact, Lostowski, who he's up against this weekend in 8th position, beat him to 7th last time out at Worldwide Technology. So again, Boris Said, just 18 years of age. His dad's here and obviously watching carefully. Got his first Formula 3 race here, so he's done single-seaters here. Didn't do the Skip Barber School. I thought he did. But as we're watching him here, he's got support from Hendricks Motorsport, and that's no mean feat. If you've got Hendricks on the car, that is a good sign. You'll see that a lot this weekend. Kyle Larson racing, of course, at the Indy 500 in his first Indy 500, and then he'll pop on a plane and go to Charlotte and try to do it all again.
That's if it doesn't flood in Indy tomorrow.
Right, that's a good point.
But, yeah, I mean, on to Boris Said Jr., while we're on that topic, that's another young driver I've been really impressed with the progress. I mean, and in a lot of cases, and I know this from being in Andretti, it can be unfair in the sense that he's Boris Said Jr., right? He should be right away, right now. Like, why aren't you winning right now? Why aren't you up front right now? And that's a lot of pressure. And he's handled all that with extreme grace, and he's built himself at his own pace, which I got a lot of respect and admiration for in the way that he's Adrian a little bit back happy through the left-hander, but gets it together and gathered up to get down this Paul Newman straightaway, and he's going to have some work. He's got himself a grill full, as you were alluding to earlier, Tyler.
Yeah, he's going to be doing some New Yorkisms, I think, coming in the pit.
Yeah, I saw that dirt and grass fly over the hood, and I knew he was going to have some stuck to the front, but maybe he'll be able to. It doesn't look like it's totally covered the grill, so I know a lot of these cars have an upper and a lower opening to try to help with those issues when one of those gets plugged. So we'll see. I mean, he could back off and he could try to tuck up under Josh Hurley, who's right behind him as well, if he needs to try to get a bit of a vacuum there to get that grass to drop off.
Yeah, he's gonna need to do something because there's not enough opening left that it's gonna keep temperature. And these LS engines, they don't mind being hot, and then they get to a point that they're like, no, I don't like that heat.
Yeah, they go soft at a certain point.
Yep.
And yeah, it doesn't look like his car has the upper openings that some of the others do. So yeah, he's gonna probably have to figure out what to do there. As we see the splitter on Silverhair, looks like maybe dragging the track a bit for Jake Drew, probably not helping him out too much. Looks like Thomas and Nunziata got a decent run.
Here's another question for you guys. Annunziata tucked in behind Jake Drew. How do the front tires react to this? How does the car react to this? You're getting all the heat from the car in front. That can't help.
No, I mean, definitely you'll see, you know, in the temps, when you look at the data, you'll look at being behind a car in traffic. When you break out and you have clean air, you'll see the temps come down. And not only are you doing cooling, but, you know, brake cooling is going through the front of the car too. So your brakes will work better. You know, if you're running a little bit hot, you'll cool down. Some of your horsepower may come back. You know, clean air is never a bad thing.
No, it's never bad to be clean air. And the good thing about these cars, though, too, is they're not so aero dependent that when you have you can be tucked right up underneath. And that's kind of can work to your detriment, you know, but to what Tyler was saying, because you can stay tucked up underneath somebody for 100 miles. It's just not going to do you any favors as far as the longevity of your car. And you're going to get a soft pedal. And Thomas pops.
On Jake Drew, they're side by side going through the Mission Foods Big Bend, but Annunziata makes it stick, and that was a beautiful move at Lime Rock, a classic Lime Rock Memorial Weekend move, and Annunziata, the youngster from California, has done it, and again now up to 4th place in the closing stages.
I mean, it's almost like he got the call to go, because like I know, like everywhere else, every other racetrack I'm at, I don't know if you're the same way, Tyler, but with 10 to go, I'm like, let me know 10 to go, and we're going to drop, and we're going to just show all our pace. Here at Lime Rock, I always say 20 to go, because it's every lap here. You know, 2 laps here is like a lap anywhere else. So I'm like, with 20 to go here, let me know so I can start making up that time.
Yeah, and again, I kind of pointed out that splitter on Jake Drew's car looks like it's flapping up and down on the track, and I think that probably has been a progressive issue for him, and so I think his pace is dropping off. There's a tube or a header or something there on the track, but I think that Thomas, you know, I'm not sure, he may have been biding his time and just made the move.
And we welcome our viewers back on MAV TV. While you were away, Annunziata made up another spot. He finally got past Jake Drew, and he's up to 4th place, so the silver hair man drops to 5th. Merrill still 6th. Boris said Jr. 7th. But Annunziata, can he do something now on the remaining laps to get onto a podium, I wonder?
Yeah, his pace, and we're going to go to a replay here of
that
move.
And take note of the splitter that you were saying, Tyler. You can see on the splitter on the 77's dragging the ground like he got a little scoop of something. And it's lost its support, and you want that splitter at a different angle. You need that splitter to have some clearance on the racetrack.
That was
for it to work efficiently.
That was a classic overtake, though, into our Mission Foods Big Bend.
Brilliant overtake, and I'm sure something that coach will go tap him on the shoulder and say, "No, well done."
Yeah, no kidding.
Yeah, it'll be really interesting to see now, you know, how much of his pace was being masked by being behind Jake Drew, trying to kind of pick and choose where he was going to make the move. And now that he's clear of him, we'll see if he can pick up the pace and catch up to Ben Mayer here in 3rd.
It looks like he is. You know, it looks like he's catching, and lap times are, you know, his previous lap time was, I thought, a little bit better.
Yeah, 54.9 last time out. Actually, same sort of pace as Mayer, but still right on the pace with the leaders. He's back on board with Evan Slater. Can Evan do anything in these? Has he saved enough tyres? Or out front, we were talking about this before the race started, surely Rafa's got the advantage over Evan, because he doesn't, you know, he's saving tyres effectively by not having to battle with anybody.
Yeah, you saw earlier in the race, you know, the front 5 were pretty tight for several laps, and I think that was Rafa really controlling the pace and not anybody else really wanting to necessarily challenge or make a move, just knowing they wanted to also protect their equipment. But now you see Rafa starting to pull away from Evan, and Evan pulling a bit away from Ben. So I think their cars are kind of falling into, you know, their groove in a sense, and I don't know that they're pushing all out quite yet. But I think it's coming here in the next couple of laps.
I feel like I'm watching Rafa at NOLA this year. You know, he got out, he was able to set a pace that was comfortable for him, gain a gap, and then just kind of hold the gap. And I feel like that's kind of where he's at right now. He hasn't felt very threatened at any point. You know, there's been no attack on him at all, not even a pop or a show of the nose by Evan. Now he's behind a teammate car. Now this gets interesting, right? Like, Barry did a professional thing, got over, pointed him by, and took away my story.
Yeah.
I love it. That's what it's all about. Well, I'll tell you what, Matos has played this sublimely, because Rafa Matos is probably thinking already about the long-term championship, because obviously a two-time champion, he's a wily old fox. He knows that he's in second place in the championship, coming off a really good result. He's had a win. He's had 2 pole positions. Merrill's only 13 points ahead, and right now that gap is coming down dramatically with Merrill in 6th and not having his best day, actually, given that he's the most successful driver here at Lime Rock in recent history.
I know Rafa, I mean, he wants every championship, but I know he really wants to be that first 3-time champion in the TA2 class. You know, the other 2-time champions being Cameron Lawrence and Gar Robinson, and he's in that company, which is good company to be in. But he wants to be on an island all by himself. And
well, to a certain extent, he is. He's got 21 wins. Nobody else has
he's
got
on an
that.
island there, but he wants to hold every record in TA2.
Yeah.
And
here we go.
And it looks like Merrill's got a little smoke from there, and he's going to get punted off here by
Merrill
Adrian.
just got thrown out. The HB Tuners, man.
I saw some smoke coming out of his car in turn 1 under brake. I'm not sure if he locked up a little bit there, but yeah, then Adrian unfortunately got into his right rear and got him a bit crossed up and shot him off the track there.
Yeah, little tap from behind. Lostowski turning Merrill off the track.
I think Adrian's trying to take advantage of that door being open there, and Thomas really wasn't ready for Adrian to close that gap, and I just think that was really chalk it up as a racing deal.
Yeah.
We're going to get a good replay of it here from Adrian. You know, the door's open here, and he just,
Well, I mean, Merrill looks so loose to me anyway. It was only going to take a buff of wind to blow him around anyway.
It wouldn't take much, that's for sure. And there's that smoke we were noticing. I didn't see a lockup though. Did you, Tyler?
Not really necessarily, no. But yeah, and just got a little bit aggressive there. Yeah, it almost came like we came out of the right side, like potentially motor or something like that. Starting to push some oil. We'll see if he continues. I mean, he is our championship leader, so.
Yep.
Right. Yeah.
Hang on a minute, and then Ciata.
Oh, he's still P4.
He's still P4.
Yeah, that was Barry.
That
was Barry Bowes. Yeah, I thought so too, and then I was like, oh no, that was right. Barry was out there, you know, being a gentleman and letting the leaders get by.
Well, we've had 52 of the 68 laps gone. Matos has led the whole way. Slater's remained second the whole way. Mayer has been in third the whole way. The big man moving is Annunziata. He's fourth at the moment, and he's got enough laps to do something special. There's always a chance of another safety, but plenty more action to come from Lime Rock here on Memorial Weekend.
So Caleb Bacon, also to make a mention, that's a young man who's coming all the way from shotgun on the field up to P12 and has had a really challenging weekend, and he's fighting through the traffic here to make his way through and got through that traffic, but doing a really nice job too is Caleb Bacon out there in P12.
Yeah, CB Motorsports, 45 years in the industry, big IMSA folks, big winners at Rolex, Daytona. Turning with their youngster. They've had a generational family of racing. Chad, of course, running the team, but he raced a while back before his dad raced before him. So it's a family affair. So Caleb literally started at 4 and has been in this scene ever since. Boris Seth Jr. diving into turn 1. Lostowski's still there with him. Here's Josh Hurley. First time we've seen him. He's had a rotten weekend.
Yeah, I saw Blaze, the team owner of BC, and saw Blaze just before I got here to the booth. He was up there on top of the hill to spot for Josh, and yeah, they have no idea where the speed went. That's how we got to talking about track conditions. I was out there this morning, and I felt like I've never had such a dead slick track here as we had at Lime Rock Park this morning. So I'm sure that that's still the case out here right now with the heat of the day, the sun pulling all that oil off the surface, and I'm sure it's still nice and greasy out there. A little bit debris on the front straightaway.
Well, it's been there a few laps, but it seems to be
it's going to
creeping
get hit.
Closer, it just got hit.
Yeah.
Who hit that?
I believe that was Barry Bowes back there.
I think you might be right. So plenty of drama here
at
Lime Rock.
You know what's surprising about Josh Hurley in BC, right, is they had tremendous pace at Worldwide Technology, which I would really equate to being something similar to this, where it's there we're turning left, here we're turning right, but you would think that some of what they had found there translates to here.
Yeah, I agree, and the thing is, like Blaze says, we're slower here than we've been in 5 years, and don't know what the really that the reason was they've been absolutely scratching their heads.
Here's Rafa, man. He is fighting through this traffic. Again, like we said, he's got to get through it efficiently to maintain that gap that he has on Slater in second.
Yeah, that was a good one there. He stuck his nose and then trapped Slater behind to have to sit through the left-hander and the right-hander behind that traffic more than likely. So that was a veteran move by Rafa again. Probably timed that one about a lap ahead of that.
Don't forget, we've got our Pro-Am class as well. There's Keith Prochuk. Had a long chat with him, and he, of course, the mastermind, or one of them, behind HB Juniors. And interestingly enough, his partner in HB Juniors has just put his son, or at least put the backing behind his son, Oscar Piastri, to a front row start at Monaco. So HB Tuners going well here and going well at Monaco as well. So a nice little crossover there. But it's Keith Prochuk at the moment leading the way, the man from Chicago, 11th overall and leading in Pro-Am.
And Keith is just one of the nicest guys. You know, speak to the paddock again. He's just one of the great, true gentlemen of the paddock. And oh wow, that was Doug Winston, and it looked like Doug and Jared got into each other here in Big Bend, and they are off into Siberia. They are just hanging out. And you know, Doug, you're a pretty big dude, but you ain't got nothing on Jared.
You ain't got nothing on Odrick.
You don't want to pick that fight.
Him.
That's the last guy I think I would go ahead and drive in the door of.
He's had a really interesting baptism of fire. He started off in Porsches, did Jared Odrick. That's the man who's stuck out there. Was a former NFL player and just turned his head to motor racing. He's also a film producer as well. He's worked with the likes of Stallone and many others. But here's another look at what happened. You see Odrick on the right-hand side with a damaged car, but it's still going strong. And then, well, Winston had nowhere to go either.
No, I think it was like a racing deal. Doug got a little bit on the curb there on entry, which kind of like just kind of sacrificed his turn in, and at the same time Jared was coming down to close in that gap and to make the corner. So I think it was just a racing deal for those two, unfortunately. I wouldn't mind seeing the arm wrestling match after this, though, to see, you know, on whose fault that was. But and what you had, you had one of the silver hair cars that was, or I'm sorry, excuse me, you had the 17 of Evan Slater was trying to get around that traffic at the time too. So I think they were all trying to get out of the way and had their own race at the same time. So just one of those Lime Rock moments.
Yeah, I was talking to Jared Odrick at the beginning of the season, talking about making the transition about being a professional athlete in one sport and then making it to another sport. He said, I feel real clunky. I don't feel as one with the car right now. You know, it's not 100% for me. And I said, yeah, but as an athlete, you'll know that you're working towards becoming one with the car. And once you get that, you'll be able to do what you did in football, which is, you know, you feel comfortable in your skin. The car is part of you once you get comfortable with it.
Yeah, he told me, he goes, stuff that comes natural to you guys, I got to remind myself to do. And so, you know, he's, like you said, he's going to get into that rhythm. But what I see here is Evan Slater got held up pretty bad.
We got a race.
And so did Ben Mayer, and you have Thomas Annunziata now on a podium spot.
You're right. Look at this, guys. We've got a race.
And we have full course caution as well.
It's happening here once again at Lime Rock. We've had so much drama. Out comes the caution and a change at the front. Matos still leads, Slater still second, but Annunziata got past Mayer for third place, and now we've got a battle royal for the finish here, and not many laps to go, but we're under safety. As you can see, the recovery truck is out there, so they've got to go and pick up Odrick. Wasn't a surprise to see we're under caution, but this sets up a really great finale, doesn't it?
Yeah, these things don't restart like a street engine. You know, if they die on you after being pushed like they've been pushed, it is a little bit of an art to restart these things. You have to use more throttle and things like that you would normally use. So he might just not be able to get that thing refired out there is a problem.
Yeah, we're gonna have a depending on how long it takes to clear this car, right? We're gonna have, I don't know, 6-8 laps of green.
Yeah.
Which is going to be just an epic battle here at the end. If you see, Annunziata had made his way around Ben Mayer and was right there with Slater, who I think got held up in some of that traffic. So it'll be really interesting to see what Thomas can do here with Slater and Matos, to be honest, on this restart.
So then, Matos leads, Slater and Annunziata your top three, Mayer fourth, Drew fifth, but more to come from this great Lime Rock circuit. Yeah, this is going to be a doozy. Annunziata now, he got third here last time, and now he's really looking to turn his weekend around. And Mayer will probably be pretty miffed that he's been solid all race long, and then suddenly he gets pipped while traffic. And we said, you know, it's a case of using the traffic and being clever with it, and he's lost out, and Annunziata gaining big time.
Yeah, this Cube 3 TA2 or Cube 3 Architecture TA2 class, there's no gimmies here whatsoever.
No.
And speaking of Cube 3, it's great to see them back with Evan Slater here this weekend and Nick supporting that whole program. And
you know, I asked Nick Middleton, I said, you know, hey, Cube 3, you're from Andover, Massachusetts. What can we say about, you know, the architecture company? I said, you know, are you happy to be involved in motor racing? Is the company happy? He goes, you know what? I want to be known for bringing young guys and supporting them like Evan Slater and like many others. And I said, what? You mean like Roger Penske and Mark Donohue back in the day? And he goes, he smiled, but frankly, that's the case. That's how Mark Donohue got his backing, and that's how he became the Trans Am and brilliant racing driver he became back in the day when Trans Am started here in '67, at Lime Rock anyway, but of course the championship started the year before. But, you know, that's really a good parallel. He's investing in youngsters.
And I'm glad he said the same thing to you, because I just thought he was saying it to me, so I didn't hit him up for money to go racing. So I'm glad he said the same thing to you, because my old man, like he's not here for that. No, I tell you what, he's doing the right thing, because these youngsters, that's what needs it. You know, as you get more established, you can find niches here and there. You can find some support because you've been around. You know, you've had some longevity. When you're new, no one knows. They're taking a risk.
Yeah.
And my hat's off to Nick for being willing to take that risk and take that for these youngsters, because it keeps them in our sport and gives them a launching pad, which is really what they need.
Well, he's a racer himself. I mean, he used to race, I believe, back in the UK. Mm-hmm. And met Evan Slater at a driving event, and that's kind of how they got hooked up, you know, and when Nick came on board in 21 and then in 2022 with SMR when he drove the Cube 3 car for them.
Yeah, exactly. So it's again, full circle. It's great to see him back on the front of that car and getting Evan back in the car.
Looks like we have a pace car peeling off here.
It looks like
we're
going green this time right now.
Restarts just happened here.
Here we go then. Rafa Matos once again gets another great restart. Evan Slater in second place. Annunziata trying every which way as they come into turn one. The Mission Foods, Big Bend. Can Annunziata get him?
Yeah, he's got snooker
side by side.
He's got snooker in there, but that gives Evan. He's got the line going into the left-hander, and he clears him for the left-hander here. And you know, Rafa did another one of those classic restarts, got that gap, and he doesn't have really anything to worry about behind, because those two are going to go to battle themselves right here for these last podium spots, these three.
Yeah, Jake Drew looked like he made a move on Ben Mayer there, too, on the restart, but couldn't hang on. So Ben Mayer prevailing here, maintaining fourth.
I'll tell you what, for a guy who's not done any racing this season, Evan Slater doing a hell of a job returning to the fold, like you say, with the Cube 3 backing and some really good people behind him. And he's got such a talent. He's been in the booth with us and just itching to get back out there.
Thomas Annunziata, I tell you, the easiest award to know what gets today is the Hard Charger Award.
Oh, no question. From the back to the front.
Not even an option. I mean, he is looking every which way but loose to get around Evan Slater. He's got pace, and he wants to go after his teammate. He thinks he's got something for Rafa Matos here, and he wants that.
That'd
he wants
great.
that.
Well, I'll tell you what, Slater's holding on for dear life now in the 17. By the way, working for SLR and Scott Lagasse, great to see them right at the sharp end. As always, as Slater gets very leery there, gets wide for a moment, and that's only going to put paid to another move by Annunziata down the main straight. Down the Bennett Bridge Hall, downhill they come and into turn 7. 62, now 63. Slater goes wide, dust flies up.
Well, the TV just does not do the Bennett Bridge Hall downhill justice.
No, a lot steeper.
You are dropping off a cliff there, and the car just compresses so strongly at the bottom of the hill that any kind of breakout that the chassis wants to do at that time is just, it's frightening. You're chasing and you're trying to get that run down the straightaway, and Evan's doing a good job of making it nice and wide there. See how he closed off the gap there, Tyler, so he couldn't do that snooker into the right-hander?
Yeah, and also, though, he's playing into the hands of Rafa, because as they defend, or as Slater defends against Annunziata, actually Rafa's taking advantage and pulling away.
Absolutely, and I tell you, Thomas is looking for that uphill move again.
Great racing from Line Wrap. We always expect it. There's usually a bit of rain involved, but not today. a Memorial Weekend Classic. We came here in '67 for the first time, and we've had 22 runs in the 40 years since we've been coming here, and it's been excellent racing for Trans Am over the years. And we've made a few names and a few heroes in the making as well. And it continues in 2024. Annunziata trying again. And he tries up the inside this time, but this is great driving from Slater. He will not deny him. He will keep denying him as much as he can, but how long can he hold on, I wonder?
Yeah, I think he's really forcing Evan to use his stuff up in a way that he probably hasn't had to yet in the race. So I think the true colors of these cars and really these drivers and where they're at are going to start to show through here. We got about, I think we're at 5 laps to go, coming to 4.
Yeah, they're definitely on the limit right now. This is all in. You know, you're putting all the chips on the table and you're putting all the bets down and you're pushing. This is the ultimate push, and yeah, you're seeing it. And it's like my Uncle Mario always say, you know, almost all cars will drive the same around 9/10. It's at that 10/10 they'll rear their ugly head, and so I think you're right. I think we're seeing the 17 car being pushed at a point that he hasn't had to push yet today.
Yeah, the one thing that is being shown up, I've seen the blue flag waving at the tower on the main straight, is that there are traffic in the way of the leader, Rafa Matos, and so all of the leaders now having to deal with that in these closing laps. Here's Rafa Matos. He's put it on a blinder this weekend. He got the pole position, almost got the lap record. He was about 100th of a tenth off it in qualifying, and since he started this race, he's never looked more comfortable than he is now. Slater under real pressure from Annunziata, who, by the way, has come from 20th on the grid, folks. Pretty darn impressive.
Yeah, super impressive for Annunziata here, but I mean, I don't know. I'm not shocked anymore by Thomas Annunziata's performances. You know, like this is what we all expect out of him now because we've been seeing it consistently. And
you'd get excited if it were any other 18-year-old because he's so young. But our champion's 16.
Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah, fair game.
Our last winner's 15.
Yeah, that's fair game here.
Yeah, Hurley, by the way, up to 8, so turning it around. Josh Hurley, just behind Lostowski now. Ruggiero drops to 9th. Merrill now 10th, so not a good day for the championship leader. And in fact, I would hazard a guess that he's going to lose that championship lead.
Yeah, Matos basically has taken every point possible this weekend if he completes this these last 2 laps. He's led the most laps. He's obviously led a lap. He sat on the pole. If he takes home this win, he gets all those points and bags them up, and he heads back to southern Florida to see his family with a big smile on his face. Oh, Michel Abate here.
Oh no,
that could end the race. That could be it right there.
Put us under caution.
I don't. That's a pretty.
That's at the end of Paul Newman's straight.
Yeah, that's right out of the right-hander, getting onto the Paul Newman straight. So if he drop on the exit of the right-hander, that's a good crossover hit too. So. Judging by the front end damage, I have a feeling that that's a possibility. We're going to get a replay here.
Yeah, let's have a look. Oh,
oh, you're right. It is at the end of the straightaway. Excuse me. Yeah, Doug.
That's actually similar to where you went off.
Yeah. No, that's appreciate that, Jonathan. thanks for the reminder.
Well,
is that why you knew it? It looked familiar.
Yeah, no, because it's Ron I worry about. He's out there on his own.
This is another moment for Doug Winston as well, so I think he's just going to be happy for that checker flag to fly.
Yeah, the unfortunate thing there is I don't even think that was for position, right? Because Michelle was sitting on pit road, and
so
she unfortunately ended up tore up in that whole thing. So feel terrible for her.
Yeah, I hate to see that for Michelle.
Michelle, of course, in the Pro-Am series.
Yeah, she fights so hard for every inch to get out here in the first place, to be a part of this. Her and her husband Tony, and and I think we got a white flag out, so this is going to end under yellow. And but great job, great racing here in the Cube 3 Architecture TA2 series. As always, Rafa Matos took him to school, because that's
I was about to say
that's what Rafa Matos does. He puts on clinics on some of these days, and so yeah, he's there. So great job by Rafa, and great job by Evan Slater. Thomas Annunziata again gave us something really to talk about as he came through the field. And no doubt in my mind he gets a Hard Charger award, and it'll be interesting to see who gets. I think Rafa.
Well, Michelle, you need to get out of there. It's getting smoky, and that's not fun to breathe at all.
No.
I don't think it's going to burst into flames, but she needs out of that car.
Yeah.
And she's out quickly. And of course, the marshals are there. They've got the fire extinguisher as well. But out comes Michelle, the Nevada #1, and as you can see, distraught by that. And very, very
She looks
upset
like
by
she's
the whole situation, and you can't blame her. But she just wants away from that, and she's going to sit down and lie down and just think about that. But we're going to end in the caution here in what was a very dramatic masterpiece by Matos, no question about it. The other great story, though, has to be Thomas Annunziata, who was immaculate Annunziata here at Lime Rock. He put on a school like Rafa Matos, but having to do it the hard way, coming from the very back, almost in 20th position and getting through to 3rd place. Hard luck to Ben Mayer, winner last time out at Technology, but I'll turn to his coach. Pleased enough with that, it can happen, but he put on a solid performance.
No, absolutely. I mean, I think, he doesn't have a lot of laps at this track, and we see Rafa Matos here taking the checkered flag in the win. He doesn't have a lot of laps. He made a lot of great progress through the weekend, so I think running 3rd for the whole race, really, until Thomas came up through there, I think that's really commendable for him, and a good way to back up that win the last time out.
Great win for Rafa Matos as he takes the checkered flag, and there's Annunziata in 3rd place, and between them, Evan Slater returning to Trans Am. So some great stories throughout, just what we want to hear.
And let's not forget the job that Ben Mayer did at NOLA until he broke.
Yeah. That's right.
I mean, this has been an awesome progression to see, and so yeah, he can't hang his head on the performance today. We'd all like to stand on the box at the end of the day. Obviously, that's why we're here, but you can't hang your head on those things. And that was the thing I told him after NOLA. I was like, this stuff happens. No one could take that performance away from you. I know it's not the result you wanted, but you got to brush this off, forget about it, move forward. And boy, did he do that at WWT.
Yeah, for sure. Like I said, and I think he backed it up well here. Again, another shout out to Evan Slater, because he did what I'm gonna do here in 2 weeks, and hopefully I have a similar result or maybe one spot better. So yeah, congrats to him and SLR, Scott Lagacy, all those guys for putting a really good effort forth here.
Well, great shot window, as you say. It's never easy when you're in that position and you're not racing every weekend, but he's done exactly what you need to do at Pittsburgh and showed himself worthy of being on this grid. More to come from Lime Rock after this. Yeah, I don't envy either of you or any of you in that position. Gonzalez the same. And to a certain extent, Adam does that with TA2. You just got to. I mean, it is okay. Here's your helmet. Here's your car. Go and show me what you've got. I mean, it's like an audition every time.
I can't express how difficult it is what Evan Slater just did today.
Yeah,
it is so challenging in the Cube 3 Architecture TA2 series, this class of racing, just to jump in. Same thing for you coming up at Pit Race. I have such an admiration for it. I know what Tyler Casera is going to do and what he's capable of, and it's a track he knows well. And but that's only one piece of the puzzle. And this the way we have simulators now and stuff is so you can really learn a track and not be blind when you show up there.
You're talking about my sim debutant here.
Yeah,
sim runner-up in the pandemic days. That's how I got to know Tyler.
Yeah, what's interesting, right, is Josh Hurley and I battled it out in that sim championship, and we're going to do battle on the racetrack for the first time. So
it's really good.
It's going to be exciting.
Yeah, Josh Hurley, of course, winner of that E-Championship back in the pandemic days. Tyler Casera, runner-up. And
let's not forget, too, as far as our Pro-Am podium was Keith Prochuk, Jim Gallagher, and then none other than the 98 who's going to finish off the podium of Doug Winston.
That's a wild one.
And we'll see if that stands on what happened out there, but no, Rafa here, the champ, again, bringing home the win. And that helmet paint job, if you look around it, it's got his career highlights on the helmet there that was painted, and he's got a lot of TA2 ones up there. But one of the sweetest things to see when I was Rafa's teammate is his daughter calls him and sings to him when he wins.
Yeah. Well, he's thanking the Concord sponsorship, but it's Rafa that wins. And we welcome you back to MAV TV as Nitro Motorsport, Nick Tucker and the boys celebrate another win, but this time not in the hands of Brent Cruz, our current champion. It's in our two-time champion who changed teams to Nitro and is now paying them big dividends by taking the pole, by taking the most laps led, and now the win. Rafa Matos wins again and will now be, once again, a title contender for 2024. And he's with Ben Sissel.
Thank you, Jonathan. That Concord American flagpole car, we were speaking just in the grid walk about how tough this track is to keep the lead all those restarts, but man, Rafa Matos, what a win.
What a great time. And in 21 years of racing in the United States, I never had a win here in Lime Rock Park. Always something got on my way. It was either a lap car or an engine problem or the rain, so I always had bad luck. So this weekend, I guess, the Nitro Motorsports guys gave me a fantastic car. You know, hats off to the Concord American Flagpole Company, Chris Dyson, allowing us to compete at the highest level. This is a dream come true. To win on Memorial Day in Lime Rock, it's amazing. I can't thank enough my family, every single member of the team, every single person that has been involved with this program. It's just a great time right now.
Now, how can we talk about this? Brazilian, newly American citizen, took the test just a couple years ago. Now here, Memorial Day Classic with the sponsor, the Concord American Flagpole, with the Dyson family, who are legends here. How much more of the American story can that get, Rafa?
Yeah, it doesn't get much more patriotic than that, right? We're racing today for the fallen soldiers, the ones that, you know, protect us to keep our freedom. We're racing today for the fallen ones and for their families. So Memorial Day is an important holiday in the United States. That's the reason we have a 3-day weekend, and today is their day.
All right, now, the #1 Trans Am fan, your daughter, give a shout out to her because I'm sure she's watching.
Julia, my love, this one is for you. I love you. I love you, Mom. I love you, Deborah. I love you guys.
Nice. Well, that's Rafa Matos. Let's have a party at Winner's Circle, everybody. Memorial Day Classic. Jonathan, back up to you.
Okay, I'll take this. Thank you, Ben. Yep, a very happy Brazilian boy. And he's done it again. And the family, he'll be, like Adam says, off to Florida to celebrate with them. But what a great race Lime Rock Park has shown, and what a great celebration for Skip Barber as they name the tower after him. Here's the result then. Rafa Matos for Nitro Motorsports. Ford Mustangs, the top 4. Evan Slater returns to Trans Am with a brilliant Cube 3 Franklin Road M1 performance in 2nd. Thomas Annunziata in 3rd. Ben Mayer in 4th. Jake Drew in the end finished 5th. Boris said Jr., that's his best result in Trans Am. 6th place overall. Adrian Lostowski 7th. The local man Josh Hurley 8th. Thomas Merrill, our champion from 22, just finishes outside the top 8. And then further down, Caleb Bacon 11th. Prochuk in 12th position. Jim Gallagher, Doug Winston, Weisberg, Bose, Mosak 17th for Silverhair Racing. Tommy Sheehan 18th. Michelle Abate, despite that crash, is down in 19th position. And a little further down, Jared Odrick, you saw go off. Eric Caton, his first run here ends in 21st place, and we saw Durbin go off early in the 25. Well, so much to talk about after that race, but well, who's your money on for cool move of the race? Well, for me, I have to say, desperately needing to get in the car was Evan Slater, and so the coolest move of the race was Evan Slater's brilliant run of holding off Ben Mayer and staying in 2nd place, and really just putting on a maestro performance of holding off Annunziata as well. Just great to see him at his very finest, despite the fact he's had hardly any time in the car. Sponsored by Cube 3 and Nick Middleton and the team, and of course Franklin Road, and racing for Scott Legacy. He is our cool move of Lime Rock TA2 2024. So as we look high above the Skip Barber Tower, I think Skip came on the right day with Sam Posey there as well. I think that will remind them of their great careers, because that had everything. Taking a look at the highlights, off we went, and a little moment there for Jake Drew at the start. Thought it was a puncture for him, but it was Connor Mosak, in fact, who got the puncture. Then a big moment for Chris Durbin as he goes onto the grass too far and spins it around. That was our first caution. Barry Bowes also getting turned round at turn 1 Mission Foods. Big bend. Lostowski also just going to the grass for a moment there, but some great action throughout. But Annunziata was creating most of the action. A little tap from Lostowski sent Merrill off. Abate also going off at the end of the Newman Straight. But a great race, won by the man of the moment, Rafa Matos. Wow, that had everything. And don't forget, you want to see the highlights of that. If your mates want to see what we're all about, tune into MAV-T on a Thursday night. That's our Trans Am nights. It's the only night. Don't go basketball. Don't go tiddlywinks or chess. Come and join us on MAV TV. And it all starts off at 8 p.m. Eastern, Thursday, May 30th. That's TA2. TA, which will be in action tomorrow, will be right after that. That's 9 p.m. Eastern, all on MAV TV. Your home for Trans Am, presented by Pirelli. So, as you can see, you'll see a crowd just underneath that tree gathering at the bottom of that hill, and you say, why were they down there? Well, that's because where the podium is, and in a moment we'll go down there with Ben Sissel and join them down there, and he's got a good crowd in him, and if you are in the area, head down there and enjoy the celebrations. There's a chance of winning a hat or two because they have the hat game. Of course, we take lots of photographs with different hats on, and usually the drivers throw them out there, and that's just looking the other way. And as you can see, some of the fans sunning themselves here in the May sunshine, and it's a great weekend this, and it's a tradition, to be honest. It's a 3-day weekend, remember, Memorial Weekend, and in motorsport terms, one of the biggest in the world, with Monaco, the Indy 500, Charlotte 600, and of course this fantastic Lime Rock Park Memorial Weekend. They've also got a huge all-star race coming up here in July. If you haven't got your tickets, some of the big names of yesteryear will be here to race hard at Lime Rock. Really looking forward to that. Let's head down, though, to Ben Sissel as the podium is about to get underway.
All right, we are here at the Memorial Day Classic, Lime Rock Park. Come on, get loud, people. You're going to have to get louder than that. I've been telling these drivers this is the best crowd. But first, I'm going to bring up Nick Middleton with Cube 3 Architecture. In the Cube 3 Architecture TA2 series, a New Englander himself. But this was a little bit weird. He's not only a series sponsor, but he also sponsored the second place finisher. So I noticed you were a little bit more nervous there. How was your race?
Yeah, this was definitely more of an interesting weekend. Nerves watching those restarts constantly, but rooting for number 2, Evan Slater, but also rooting for every single driver this weekend because I've been basically playing for Switzerland and basically supporting everybody in the paddock. So congratulations to everybody for a great weekend and all the spectators and the fans here today. Awesome job. And thanks to everybody here at Lime Rock.
Nice. I love it. Yeah. Dickie Regal and his team here at Lime Rock Park just put on a fantastic show. But Lime Rock, you need to warm up a little bit. So we're going to do a little bit of a concert thing here, warm up the crowd. So I say lime, you say rock, lime, lime. I say trans, you say am, trans, trans. Nice, all right. Now keep that up. The louder you guys are, the more stuff you're going to get. We are going to start with the Cube 3 Architecture TA2 series. Look at that, he's throwing out some chips. All that and a bag of chips. You can eat those right now. I like that. All right, this is the Pro-Am in 3rd place. So cool to have him back. Bring back the trades. Let's hear it, Doug Winston, ladies and gentlemen. I like this, Lime Rock. Keep up this energy. Amy likes it too. Nice job, Doug. In 2nd place, he was on the podium with us at NOLA, New Orleans. Let's hear it for Jim Gallagher. With Waypoint, Mike Cope Racing. I got to tell a little story here. We were just in Worldwide Technology Raceway about 2 weeks ago. He had a bad forced off. He actually took a huge chunk out of a concrete wall, but still finished the race. And now he's here, Top Step Pro-Am. Let's hear it, HP Tuners, Keith Prochuk. Sorry, I'm cutting out. I'm too loud, I think. So Doug, sorry Nick, I'm tripping you. That's got to feel really good. And I know, just by the way you talk, I know we're kind of in your area of the country anyway.
We are. So we probably had about 100 people came out to see us today. A lot of support, and glad we didn't disappoint them on the podium. So good everything, and bring back the trades.
Nice. Anybody you want that?
Everybody. The crew did a great job today. Joe, my crew chief, was fantastic. everybody worked together, and we had a car that we were struggling with all weekend, and we finally got it put back together right, and it made a whole race, so we're good.
Nice. I love it. I love it. How about that, Doug Winston? Bring back the trades. I fully believe that. Now, we're going to go all the way over to the Pacific Northwest. All the way from the Pacific Northwest, the other side of the country, Jim Gallagher, second place. That's got to feel good.
Oh my gosh, that was a fun race. This track is so fast, so fun, so exhausting. So got a little physical at the end, but it was super fun. Glad to be here.
Nice, nice. I love it. Jim Gallagher, ladies and gentlemen. All right, Keith Prochek, not only are you on the top step, but you get to pick who gets a Pirelli Bear after your podium, right? So you're going to take one of those and give it out to the loudest fan. But HP Tuners, Keith Prochek, back on the top. That's got to feel good.
Yeah, you know, like they say, this race, the fans are absolutely fantastic. We see you out there on track. I hope we put on a good show. You guys certainly energize us. Yeah, it was a lot of fun drifting around the cars a lot. Little bumping in there, but yeah, it turned out to be a great race. Really happy to be here. Happy to be on the top step. Thanks Cube 3. Thanks Mike Cope Race Cars. Thanks HP Tuners. Good weekend.
Nice. All right, Lime Rock Park Memorial Day Classic. Let me get out of the photographer's way. Hold those trophies up. And do you want them closer, Chris? You want them to all get on the top step? Yeah, can you guys all get up on the top step? Come on now, Lime Rock Park, get loud. Look at that. That is our Pro-Am, Doug Winston, Jim Gallagher, Keith Prochek. And now you guys can throw out those hats if you like. And Keith, don't forget about that Pirelli Bear. Those are very coveted. So who's going to get loud for that Pirelli Bear? Here's, oh, I've got an American flag face painted right here. Look at that. Come on, Lime Rock. Let's get loud. Doug Winston, Jim Gallagher, Keith Prochek. Very nice. All right, Keith, take that teddy bear. I know who I'm giving mine to. All right, hey, Nick, right behind you is a face-painted American flag. There we go. Look at that. You're getting that from Nick Tucker with Nitro Motorsports. There's our Pro-Am. Where'd you go with that, Keith? Oh, here we go with the champagne. Get loud, Lime Rock. Look at that. I love it. And Doug taking a swig. Sorry, guys. Right in the eyes of Doug Winston.
I'll take it.
All right, he'll take it. Wait. Doug, throw out some hats, man. Give these people some hats. Who wants some Pirelli hats? Look at that. Let's see what kind of arm the Pacific Northwest has. It's pretty good. Oh. Oh, thank you. You want to say something? All right, ladies and gentlemen, before we start with the TA2 National, I'm going to bring up Dickie Regal because, Dickie, we've been talking for a few weeks. You know, we always talk about this crowd, but look at this beautiful weather. This is kind of fun to see. I feel like we're at a rock concert.
Well, I tell you what, when Trans Am and SVRA show up at Lime Rock Park, it's the fans that benefit. This is such a great show, and this is such a great crowd. Thank you so much, everybody, for coming out here tonight.
Nice. Now, I'm going to put you on the spot. We will be back here with a different show. The Speed Tour All-Stars in July, and IROC is coming back, making its first appearance in 20 years. That's going to be cool as well, isn't it, Dickie? And where can they get tickets and information about that?
It's so easy. Go to limerock.com. We hope to see every one of you here for what's going to be an unbelievable all-star show and IROC here, July 19th and 20th. Be here back at Lime Rock Park. You're gonna be part of the like the greatest weekend of the summer.
Nice, I love it. How about that, ladies and gentlemen? The CEO, Lime Rock Park, Dickie Regal. Okay, I got to tell a funny story here. I was talking in Nitro before the race, and I was telling this driver how hard it is to pass people here, how difficult it was. He was starting 20th, and he looked at me and he goes, well, gee, thanks a lot. Thanks for, the vote of confidence. Thanks for telling me that. He came all the way from 20th to finish 3rd place. Ladies and gentlemen, let's hear it. The number 90 Nitro Motorsports Nerd Focus Bayshore. Let's hear Thomas Annunziata. How about those shoes, too? A couple more laps, Thomas. I think you might have gone up another step. Where's From all the way from Portsmouth, New Hampshire. Ladies and gentlemen, right from this area, second place driving the Cube 3 architecture car, M1 SLR. Let's hear it. Evan Slater, ladies and gentlemen. And then how about this story for the Memorial Day Classic? A Brazilian that became an American citizen just a few years ago. Sponsored by Concord American Flagpole Company here at the Memorial Day Classic. Two-time TA2 champion. Let's hear it. Rafa Matos. Nitro Motorsports, they had a great day today. Ben Mayer just finished 4, so they had 3 out of the top 4. That's unbelievable. Nunziata, you know, I follow you on Facebook. We were talking about your brand new sponsor, Chip Boys. Delicious chips. That's pretty awesome. And here you are. You were pretty down. We talked an hour and a half ago. You're like, I'm starting 20th, and you just told me it's the toughest track for passing. But here you are, third. Somehow, I have no idea. How was your race?
It was great, and honestly, it was a great weekend. Unfortunately, we just had one small error that happened at the worst possible time. So, I mean, hats off to these Nitro guys. They are the best team in the entire paddock. Give us great cars, and they're great mentors. So, I'm just thankful to be a part of that team. And yeah, it was just frustrating before. I mean, I felt like I had the car to win last week or last event. It didn't go our way. I felt like we had the car to beat this weekend, and it didn't go our way, but it did. So at the end, so I'm happy. We made some championship points up, which I'm surprised about. But yeah, first race for Chip Boys as well. I'm proud to be with them and showing them off in front of all you guys. I hope you guys like the chips. I gave some over to the fans out there, but yeah, this is awesome. Nerd Focus, Bayshore Mortgage Funding, AI Media, SC Arms, OMP, Nitro Motorsports. All those guys, Chip Boys, amazing. So I love it. I can't appreciate everyone enough, and I'm excited to get to the next round.
Nice. How about that, ladies and gentlemen? Thomas Annunziata. And then just from down the road, reunited, and it feels so good. Back with Nick Middleton, Cube 3 Architecture, and just so fast all weekend. You know, you're a great announcer. Love having you in the booth, but I really love seeing you back behind the wheel. That's got to feel good.
Oh my gosh, it feels amazing. I mean, I love this Trans Am series. I love commentating in the booth, but driving is on another level. So I was super thankful that Scott Lagacy from SLR, he called me up, and man, he gave me a great car this weekend. I mean, it was super fun. The car was amazing to drive. So I didn't quite have enough for Rafa, but super happy with second. Super happy that I can get a great result from my amazing sponsors, Cube 3, Franken Road Apparel, Tom Haas Foundation, and Paul Racing Enterprises. So super thankful for all that. Team SLR gave me a great car, and I'm going to enjoy this one.
Nice. How about that, ladies and gentlemen? Evan Slater, I see that you're holding a Cube 3 stress cube. Let's see what kind of arm you have. He's right-handed. Let's see now. Come on now. Ooh, that was a humdinger. He's going right for his competition's head right there, trying to knock out Nick. But man, oh, Rafa, look at that. Oh, Rafa's got you beat, Evan. Oh, man. Oh, let's see what Thomas has. Thomas put a little mustard on it. Oh, look at that. Thomas has the arm. Rafa, I know that this has got to mean so much to you. And he's been saying he needs a win at Lime Rock Park. You got it. That's got to feel good.
Amazing feeling right now. I never had luck here in Lime Rock. Would always something happen, a lap car or rain or something would break in the car. But the Nitro Motorsports guys prepare an amazing car. Not only my car, but they prepare all 4 race cars at the best of the best, you know. And to come out here and, you know, put a good show for the fans, it's an amazing time. I gotta thank Chris Dyson allowing us to compete at the highest level, you know, using the Concord American Flagpole Company. Chris Dyson, this is his home track, and it's a very special event for him. And we're really happy to deliver a good result, and this should put us in the lead for the championship. So it's a good day for Thomas and for everyone in the team. I feel sorry for Michelle. She had an incident at the end, but hopefully she'll be okay. And, you know, just a really good day. I got to rush to the airport now.
Nice, got to rush to the airport. How about that, ladies and gentlemen? Come on, Thomas Annunziata, Evan Slater. Rafa Matos, hold up those trophies. Get on the top step, everybody. There we go. Look at that camaraderie. Hold those trophies up, the photographers say. Concord American Flagpole Company's got to be super proud. Memorial Day Classic here at Lime Rock Park. Now we're going to change hats. Now listen, gentlemen, I'm going to put you on the spot also. Each one of you picks out a teddy bear and gives it to a fan out there deserving of a teddy bear. Hold on now. Oh, yeah, you can come down. You want to come on down? Come on down there. No, he's saying come up there. All right, Evan, you going to throw it out? Thomas, you want to throw it out? There we go. We're going to get a picture. Sorry, Chris. I've just totally messed up your rhythm. I'm so sorry. Chris just looks at me like, yeah, normal. Oh, nice. There we go. There we go. All right. Everybody back up here, though. I totally ADD theater. That's my fault. I apologize. Come on back up here, Evan. Come on up here, Thomas. I got to regroup. Chris, so sorry. Totally, just too hyper. Didn't take my meds. All right, hold up those trophies, new hats, and we have a bunch more to throw out to give to you guys. All right, throw that out, Evan. Let's see what kind of frisbee arm you got. Oh, Tim Richter, the deflection into the crowd. I love it. All right, one more time. Lime Rock Park, get loud. Thomas Annunziata, Evan Slater, Rafa Matos. All right, there we go. Nice job. Yeah, we'll do the special awards and then we'll do that stuff. Okay, so the Omo Legato watch fastest lap. Gentlemen, you guys could stay up there. Rafa doesn't mind sharing it with you. The Omo Legato fastest lap goes to Rafa Matos. It's beautiful Trans Am watch. Hold that up there, Rafa. Hold that up for Chris. And now you can never be late to drivers' meetings. And then our cool box, coolest move of the race, goes to Evan Slater for holding back Thomas Annunziata there in the late stages of the race. How about that? So hold that up. Chris, is that okay to do it like that? Okay, he's nodding yes. Hold that up for the photographers. Oh, Rafa wants a redo, I think, on that Cube 3. There we go, the Cube 3 stress cubes. How about that? Ladies and gentlemen, Lime Rock Park, you guys want some chips? Let's do the champagne. Does everybody get champagne? I don't think Evan Slater gets champagne. Evan Slater and Thomas Annunziata both don't get champagne.